Sad mutiran. Sad me čujete sigurno sad. Jebote, tek sam ustao u pičku. Ne vidim šta se ovdje dešava. Trinaest-3 trećemo. Odlično. Hoće ovdje da bude finale ili? Neće da bude. Znači, najgore ustao sam, brate, u 8. Znači, u snos. Ustao sam u 8 i, brate, kurčina. Morao sam s Filipom tu da se zajebavam. Znaš, sam nastavio i eto ti.
For both teams, I think they realize this is a huge opportunity. One may argue that a little bit more for Aurora than for the Mongols. I have faith that the Mongols will get into more grand finals and they will get more chances of winning trophies, where I could see this as being not once in a lifetime for Aurora, but close to, you know. So in terms of adding a little bit of extra pressure in that regard, I think Aurora feels that this is the moment to capitalize, whereas for the Mongols, probably the same, but to a less degree.
Yeah, probably the same. I think, I mean, I've been kind of saying it since they won that game. I feel like Mongols have to win this. You know, like they just have to. Like in my head, you've had so many chances. It's funny because like if you look at like this on a bigger picture scale, you can say Mongols are clearly the favorites coming into this finals of the major, finals of the last.
Are you insane?
Aurora's been struggling during that time span.
Ovaj giveaway je strava.
To this one event, this feels like a very 50-50 game, which is quite scary if you put that pressure of saying.
Ne znam Ivice, možda ne, zavisi kako bude finale bio.
It's pretty nuts, right? Like when you look back at Aurora's
danas radimo giveaway, ljudi. Nemoj zaboraviti, evo tu je Nutelica napravio ovo nešto da možda klikneš, valjda, nemam pojma.
have had opportunities, sure. They've had to go up against some formidable opponents. I'm thinking of the major, obviously, with Vitality, then just the other day having to face off against Spirit, which arguably wasn't even really a game at points. This is where I would argue the pressure is on the Mongols to actually claim
biti staka.
And it is also the first time they won't have to face the best player in the world, or one of the two, depending on your pick.
On your opinion.
Right, so and
Nutelica je otac, moram njemu dam giveaway.
They just shoot so hard and they have so much firepower, right? Where this is where they should have.
Razmišljam da odigram tiket, stavim hiljadarku i da dobijem 700, znači neki 1700. Ne znam šta može se desiti, ja?
Last time they met, they had that collapse on Mirage where and the T sides have been poor, so you're just like they went from is Major on a hot spot, they need to make a change, like is everything falling apart in that team, into now making the grand finals looking better than ever and sort of with an opportunity to win the trophy.
Your Mongols as well, I think you have to take advantage of the fact that Blitz is having maybe one of the best events of his career as well. I think is he the number one rated player at the event now? Yeah, Techno is now. Techno jumped over him, so I mean, Blitz was number 2 behind Zywoo for quite some time. Now Techno's jumped over him, so you have two of your guys popping off in that fashion.
And that's the scary thing, right? When we're looking at this Aurora lineup, is okay. Like Blitz is, I feel like he's the definition of a fragging in-game leader at the moment. There are moments where
ne može dobije, druže, duel u Counteru.
Was one of them. But he's not necessarily the consistent force we're looking at. I'm looking at guys like Xantares, who has been delivering, obviously Woxic as well. What's your temperature check been on, you know, the Aurora individual firepower so far?
Šta mislite, da li Manchester, ljudi, da li Manchester može da ne izgubi?
A massive win condition for Aurora throughout this tournament. He's played really well, especially on some of the T sides that we spoke about where they're struggling.
Sigurno može da ne izgubi.
One player, you know, who can win around on his own, and I think that's been very impactful for Aurora.
Evo,
Crosshair as well has been very consistent. Has had some moment with the orb, as you said, Major yesterday.
Da li Manchester može da ne izgubi, vrat? I da igram na zvezdu, šta ne se neće ne.
And that's my biggest issue heading into this grand final. I feel like it relies a lot on Xantares.
Crystal Palace mi je dobar, vrat. Nottingham Forest mi je, dobar dan. Napred rad.
You know, one person on Aurora that I really enjoy these days has been Woxic opping, because I think for the longest time in his career I was just like, you know what?
Dobar dan, napred rad.
Just like a frag movie opper. You know, like he's got the high sensitivity, he goes for flicks, he gets a lot of flashy highlights, but...
A recite mi, Juventus.
I never thought he was really capable of it, but the way he's like kind of matured and added that into his game and picked up that sort of a style with the opera, I think he's a very efficient opera now, and if he comes in with Xantares, that might be the only two you need, because we've seen those guys, we've seen Woxic especially pop off.
Dobiš ih Heksene, brat.
I don't know how you stop him.
Dajte mi još jedan par, brate. Ostavio sam Ajax, Keca, Manchester da ne izgubi, brate, i još jedan par.
They've been together for a long
I da nas boli
time.
kurac.
The Mongols, it's close to 2 years with the 5 players on the roster, and then for Aurora, Jota got added in January, but the other 4
Same, Suids, same, mate.
Almost 2 years, right? So when you have that, is you get so many reps, like you're in so many different situations, and there's no doubts that you're not on the same page, right? Like after 2 years, you're definitely on the same page. For all these mid-round situations, for the post plans, for the against low buys.
Misliš Aurora uzima jednu mapu?
Concepts in Counter-Strike, they're the same across every map.
Don't
matter
koju mapu možda uzme Aurora?
Certain situations.
Onako.
You look some of the other teams that we talk about that are struggling and not struggling, it's always the changes, getting adjusted, giving them time. Well, these guys have it all, and I think that's one of the main reasons why we see them in the grand final.
I think it's kind of, I mean, we obviously saw the quote from the major interview where he's just like saying, I'm going to give my entire heart, my entire soul to try and lift this trophy, but I think it's such a cool story.
Kome god je Jurić trener, ono...
Think of how difficult it was to get this team together. It took years for them to even agree to play with each other. Like they didn't, like, you know, there were conflicts between the individuals not coming together. It was always like, man, if Turkey could ever get the 5 best Turkish players on a team together...
Ma treba mi nešto sitno, samo eto čisto da ispratim. Dobijemo možda 700, 800, 900, brate, dolara i boli nas kurac. Šta sam odigrao? Aha.
goofily. You mentioned them like playing together for so long as well. Like these are two teams where if you ever get to a point of making a roster change, it's kind of like, well,
Evo Everton,
who you
Brighton,
go to?
brate,
'Cause it's
2
not like
plus
there's a whole
cel.
lot of great options in either one of those scenes. The fact that MongolZ has been able to make roster changes to put this team together is actually an incredible feat that they've just found these guys at random land setters around
Evo,
Ulaanbaatar.
ide Larkica,
Yeah,
batic
exactly.
se.
That's not a conversation for tonight, obviously, or for today, because I agree. You know, if these 5-man rosters doesn't work out, it's gonna be very
Koga
hard
jeb.
to
Ajde
replace
se
players.
You
vratim
can't
sad
have a
na ovo.
conversation about roster changes, can you?
No, you kind of can't. You know, so Xflout maybe try and stand in a little bit for Aurora, but that would be a complete different team. And we saw Aurora with no Santaris and Xflout instead. So
Ma ja verujem u
to be honest,
Mitomu,
that's why there's also
brate.
additional pressure for both these lineups right now. This is a massive opportunity to win a tier 1 trophy, and as Apex has been saying, you know, in Vitality over and over and over to the guys again, you never know when you get the next chance, and it's the exact same thing here for the Mongols and Aurora.
And it's super impressive how much Techno has withstood that pressure as well, because he's not the man you look at, arguably, Jason, to be delivering for the side of the Mongols, but he's having quite the tournament here, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is, especially the pop-off game in the semifinals, and he was just so humble about it. He was just like, oh yeah, I just think it was I guess it was just my day, you know, which is just like, all right, man, you can have a little bit of an ego right now. But yeah, it's really cool to see him have that kind of performance.
Stop,
I think he's kind
snago.
of underrated in a certain sense, but it's really nice having a player like that who can pop off and has this level of talent,
Zna,
and also
da.
doesn't
Pa
necessarily
jebi.
mind taking the back seat. Like you've never got the impression that like he's upset with the lack of attention he's
Ne znam šta bi ovi naši, ovi ljudi moji mislili, brate, kad bi počeli da pričamo engleski. Konstantno. Dvorišće.
It's a very homogeneous team right now when you look at the Mongols, you know, across the board, all the players are delivering, all the players are chiming in from time to time. I think the one player that's been a little bit missing,
Čofek kaže, nemoj shares.
Messinio, you know, hasn't really stepped up a lot as of late, but even at this tournament, he's had a great game. So again, I look towards this lineup. I think to myself, if Messinio is supposed to be your weakest link within the lineup, then you have a pretty good lineup across the lineup.
Ovako, nekad igram, ne mogu sa Revom da pričam na engleskom.
For the Mongols versus Aurora, Aurora relies an awful lot of Santaris, a little bit on Boxic, whereas for the Mongols, I feel like you can have Messinio have a worse off game. You can have 9-10 not hitting your shots, and you can still find ways to win.
I put another advantage towards Mongols in the sense, I don't know, you guys think
When I do the co-streaming, maybe I should speak English, because like maybe it will attract more people somehow. I don't know.
Like
I think they're lucky that Mongols is permaban is trained.
Do you know, guys, that
yesterday, but it is the weakest map.
I woke up at
in the
8
pool, right? So I think it. You
and I drank a
Aurora
Monster.
is going to be a big question mark.
At 10:30 I fall asleep back
Yeah,
again.
who does Aurora pick it?
Monster
Or
is
it
a
left
fucking
there
fraud.
As the 5th map, Mongols did play it one time against Gamer Legion here and were able to get the win. So I think that could be one of the potential deciders.
They left it in as a third map against
Hop,
Vitality
zašto
in the recent
sedi
series
ovako
as well.
pin?
So I mean, that would indicate to me that they've been putting some work in it.
Yeah,
at least
yeah,
confident enough
thank
to, like,
you.
kind of float it as that
I
deciding
think
happens.
people would like to hear more.
Beyond the conversation of Senzu
Desi ma
still being a little bit shaky, is that
tlija.
bad for you, Jacob?
100%.
To je tlija.
I think he's done
Kao
well.
neki
The
su
players
tlijaš.
we've seen him play in so far, I think he's
Na
shown
to me
promise.
podsjeća tvoj
This
lik.
whole group stage warrior thing is also, it's easier to build that narrative when most of you
Da li
guys
vredi,
are
ljudi, da vas pitam, da li vredi od koga je kvotana, brate, Ilija? A normalno da je Ilija, mislim, šta znaš. Da li vredi, koga je kvota na ove, kako se zovu, Turke? Mislim, vredi odigrati možda na Turke.
Obviously, he's a big part of the reason why the Mongols are performing at this consistently high level. It's playoff after playoff after playoff, and now finals after finals. It's truly impressive what they're doing over there.
And this is the kind of change in perspective you have when a team like Mongols is finally playing this well and playing this
Evo,
well
odigrat ću za 100
consistently is like Senzu.
Mislim, realno, brate, nije kao da su ovi nešto mnogo jači, brate.
Needs to like kind of figure out how to play on the stage. Now it's just like you just had a bad game. Like you don't get that benefit of the doubt anymore, any longer.
What's the story with when we're looking at the in-game leaders? Because
Best of 5 je Dirokse.
about, you know, the economy changes to CT side.
Neko iz Falcosa da pa, mislim, može, brate, da što su to Arapi, brate. Ne bi me čudilo da im daju i trofej za prvo mesto.
Maja obviously doesn't like it so much as a caller. Have you seen any kind of particular, you know,
Ma nemam pojma, patuljak, sad sam ustao, širut.
The T side of things?
Well, I think for Aurora, it's been a little bit notorious that they're a little more execute heavy and don't really play.
Pa evo sad sam odigrao, brate, za Soma na Ajax Ketsa, X2 na X2, da, X2 na United i Everton Brighton 2 plus cel.
But they do it really, really well. Like there's not a ton of finesse and mind gaming to their games. It's just like do the fundamentals really well, execute them well, and their players are sharp, which is how you should play with the composition of the players that they've got.
Very reactionary Counter-Strike, you know, and I think regardless of the economy change or not, I don't think that changes too much for the Mongols.
Zakladej, Desivity.
Sometimes impossible to break the CT economy. If anything, I think the biggest change that some of these teams will have to realize, and probably are already realizing, that this whole
Uje, 170.
you know, trying to give yourself an early advantage going up against
Ideš u
59s,
pičku,
maybe
mat.
you have to cut back on that a little bit, because you will always have a stronger buy if you save it.
A recite mi bre vi, šta je uradila Barcelona juče? Znam da je Milan na kraju izgubio 2-1, šta je Barca uradila?
Continue to force, and then they go into the first buy round with a couple of galils, lack of utility, etc., and then they complain about the CT side being too strong. So
Nemam pojma
maybe you can do
snagu.
something to change yourself.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much that meta changes as time goes on. I think we saw Falcons kind of fall into the exact trap you were talking about on Inferno, where I feel like they played some games just like with
Preokrenuli, vrate, uje.
So yeah, I guess teams are going to
Bra.
have to kind of rethink and retool and
Je ga zvidno i Lamin.
I think the hardest thing, and probably the reason, well, definitely the reason why Major says, you know, he's not exactly, he's probably a fan of the change in theory, but in terms of his responsibility, it makes it so much harder to keep track of what the CT side, the opposing team, is going to be able to work with, right? Around where you think they might not have the money to get any
Bravo,
rifles,
Čofeks,
maybe
bravo.
it's a half buy, all of a sudden they've got a couple M4s. And
Lizno ga u nekog patuljka, vrate.
Yeah, I think that's the important thing, because before you could get good T sides, okay, you win a key round, and then you have the anti-force, but then even the next buy is damaged for the CTs, right? Like you have to make the trade-off between having M4s or having good utility. Maybe you don't have enough money for an AWP. And the thing is, when you go into this round as an IGL, like you know what options are available. Like certain rounds are available to you that otherwise wouldn't be. You also know that the pressure is on the CTs. So you can also just play it a little bit more chill, take some space and wait for them to react, because they will feel pressured. With the added economy, well, now you have to work for it more. So you don't have as many options potentially available. You can't just sit back and wait for them to do something because they're pressured. You have to be
Kad on nije na televiziji.
and sort of coming up with answers on the fly.
And speaking of initiative, right, I think it was Banks was catching up with Mazzinho ahead of that Vitality series yesterday. They sounded so prepared for literally every single situation. It was like, okay, we lose the pistol, here's what we're doing. We win the pistol, here's what we're doing. And then if, you know, we stop the conversion, here's what we're doing. Like, it seemed like they had this almost like, what do they call, like,
A game plan?
It's like a tree chart.
Well,
yeah.
This happens and this happens. Like, that's pretty mad.
Yeah,
Porez
I guess that's
na
always,
kost.
that's how it's
Pošto
always
ćemo
been. I guess
uskoro
you
to da
two
jedemo.
would attest to that as well. In
Kost.
MR15, there were more rounds that you had to figure out throughout the game, whereas for MR12, you always come in with a certain pistol. You always have an idea of what you want to do in your first buy round, so you always plan out as much as you can. And I think as a coach, I think you have more
Rođeni, hello.
than in MR15, because more relies on the preparation than it does in MR15. When it gets into the deeper sections of the game, well, then the players and the coach in the 30-second timeout will have to make the decisions instead of pre-planning it.
I mean, definitely, I can tell you from my side, we always had, okay, if we win the pistol,
Čekaj bre, kakve kamate na kredite? Na ove postojeće kredite? Ili na buduće kredite?
It's two different, could be two different rounds, because might be op, no op. If we're 0-2, if we plant the bomb, are we forcing, are we not forcing? So definitely everything at the start of the half, like you cover all the scenarios. And then I always had a round, listen, if we're in a must-win round, like this is going
Tera ljude da uzmu još
right?
kredit.
Like when the money is low, usually a reset round, or if you're down 5-0, right, and you really just want to get around on the board, you always have a call based off of a little bit of scouting, you know, where you can tell the weaknesses, and that's like when you pull it out is when you need it the most, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think also, you know, one fun thing that I find in MR12 is I just think, in some sense, I guess I would sort of disagree in a way. Like, I don't think it needs to be like super planned out and too much, because I think you can call off momentum a lot more in MR12. I think you have the ability to kind of like just kind of swing rounds and play with what you're feeling at the time. And look, it's not always going to work, but there are games where you're on a roll as an IGL and you just know you have them on a string. You know you've just kind of set them up and conditioned them for one thing. And in MR12,
Oni još nisu sredine švajcarske kredite, su dizali u svijetu. Država stala iza građana i rešila broj švajcarskih kredita. A mi ne priznajemo Švajcarsku kao državu, kao ne znam šta je s tim kreditima.
Saying that in that context, because like Blitz, we always call him, you know, one of the fragging in-game leaders, right? Like if he just has, you know, he's just got the.
Sad sam teo da kažem Alta banka je ono.
he's feeling himself.
Pa smanjit ćemo kredite da biste svi uzimali kredite u Alta banci.
More regimented than maybe I expected.
Yeah, in some sense, but I agree with the point.
A na šta kredit?
Momentum based in MR12. The point was that
Na šta kredite? Na stan, na kola, na, vrate, na sve kredite.
you have less rounds to work with. So
If you do the same amount of work.
exactly. Well, I'd assume so, for most of the coaches, obviously. And then, as you said, like if you have a player who then has the ability to read the game early on or get that momentum, then
Stambeni
I think
krediti za
that's gonna work
mlade.
out for you. And I think
Okay.
MongolZ is a significantly better team in MR12 than they are in MR15. And I think
Kako
there's
se
some
dobija
reason for
peti
that,
poen,
and
nemam
being
pojma,
reliable
Nutelice,
on
reci
momentum
čovjek.
and play it simple to a point where it is more about the individuals as well. Counter-Strike 2 also changed the landscape of that, compared to CSGO. It was a bit more, I wouldn't say it was more tactical in CSGO, but you rely a lot more on just
Za slotove.
your duels in CS2, and I think that's a notion that all the players would agree to.
I want to talk to Blitz at some point because one thing I've been impressed with MongolZ in this tournament so far has been watching
nema
how quickly
5
the
poena.
reaction like spreads throughout a team, right? Like if they get put into switch
To dosta,
situation, I
to
don't know if
dosta.
Blitz is calling it. I'm
Do
assuming
čela.
he is, or if it's just kind of already.
Ja mislim da
pre-programmed.
sam
But the way I see them, like,
pa
they have
dodos.
different scenarios. Like a smoke comes down when they're about to execute and ruins their plans, but they switch so quickly into plan B. And I don't know if that's Blitz calling it or if everyone just kind of knows if that's pre-planned protocols that everyone's just on the same page with, but it happens so fast that it makes them so decisive when they eventually do pull the trigger.
Or the fact that they've been together for 2 years.
Yeah, that helps as well.
And has happened probably 5,000 times already. And
Idemo na F4 Vasilije Vaso.
Call and
Right.
obviously you can't do the same thing every time in every scenario, but it's going to be one of two things or
Yes.
three things, and everyone sort of is already.
75k, vraćao bi 118, 25,
Kind of
35,
what I find fascinating about the MongolZ, and obviously if you
43
probably
profit
better than we do,
ovog
but
vrcije.
you speak of Mouse, you have Exertion being that secondary voice within the team, Device and Astralis being the secondary voice in the team. We don't really have that strong notion of a secondary voice within the
Zvekne
team. of the
Babić.
Mongols. I'm sure if you watch some of their vlogs and watch some of their content, you'd know a little bit better, but that's also part of the whole game of being a domestic team in the sense that you have 5 players who speak a very unique language that not a lot of us understand, so it's from the outside sometimes tough to fully understand the inner workings of a team like that.
A reci mi šta ako neko mlad hoće da digne kredit od 200.000 evra, to može.
The mysteriousness.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, right? Like you don't want to lay everything out there for people.
I da da 10%
Take
učešća.
away the-
Yeah, you gotta entice him. You gotta bring him in, let him take a
I do
peek.
know
Veliki
something,
rizik Nutelice,
and
vrati.
that is a bit of breaking news that the third, fourth place decider has indeed concluded.
Oh, give me a drum roll.
Falcons are the winners, which
Oh.
13?
13.
Kripto držim na, brate, eksternom.
It
Yeah, yeah,
was not a
Novčanik.
great day in the
Da ne može
Vitality
ništa da mu se
office, let's
desi.
just say that. Particularly considering that now they don't win this, they cannot place second in the club
Who
championship.
would know that Liquid would be the team winning the most money today out of all the teams?
I
Getting
did.
second place.
I knew it all along.
Of course she did. Yeah, I mean, Manasi.
Vidio išao si grle, bravo, kao uspeli smo da ne budemo zadnji.
My theory on this, and
Svaka
maybe
čast,
we heard it
kao-
in the pre-show, my theory on this is like, on some extent, Falcons play the late
Pa imaš i aplikaciju, imaš i eksterni kao ledger.
Had to be back here with like 8:39 or something to set up for the game. So you're not getting a lot of rest. You're probably awake, being pissed off, being angry, thinking about all the rounds you lost and all the rounds you screwed up in the semifinals. You probably didn't even like do any real prep for this game.
Nema nikakve provizije.
And it's just funny kind of seeing that trend where they come in and kind of blow them out in this fashion and get a good win when you think it's some of the great finals they played.
Njemu je max mogao 180k, čovjek ima platu 120k mjesečno.
So it's almost like you come in and you're not having the
That's what I was
conversation.
gonna say.
You're not focusing on
Pa
the
dobro,
details. You're not
razumijem
hung
se.
up on what everyone's doing and what the right play is, what conversation you had and what you need to do in this scenario. You're just playing the game. And they came in just I mean obviously beat them down.
Da, slično kao USB.
Boring result for Vitality.
Mislim, nerealni uslovi su šta, dobri ili loši, ne mogu da ukapiram šta da kažem.
I was gonna give them one
Ja
more.
nisam fan tih kredita i to.
13-3 to Falcons, 2 maps in a row. I saw the train game. That was abysmal. That was a horrible showing from every single player. Same could be said
Aha.
obviously for Nuke. I didn't watch the game, but when you look
čekaj,
at it,
će
it
sada
looks like
smanji
it's not a
kao-
good showing. So
That
again,
was them starting
Hoće
on
sada smanji
T side.
must have
da
been
sa 75.000 treba da vratiš koliko, na
It's
primjer.
just worrisome for Vitality, right? That begs the question. Now we
300.
go back home. Obviously, we rest up Savu, make sure that he's not sick for the next tournament. But it applies the pressure that next tournament will be very telling in whether or not we consider Vitality to be
All right.
favorites to win trophies anymore.
All right, Jacob. Is it time for a roster change?
No. No.
All right,
Okay,
Jason.
calm down. Calm down.
All right, Jason. With how today and yesterday went for Vitality,
Sure.
was Liquid good or is Vitality just bad at the moment?
Ooh. Liquid's good. And Vitality.
No, they're not. They're horrible. Jason, stop.
Sure, buddy.
Listen. Time is going to tell, and time is going to be on my side. History will vindicate me. Liquid's a good team.
History is written by the winners, so I don't think so.
Not so much time for Vitality though, because Blast Open is literally upcoming in just a few days. They are the first match on Wednesday morning. Obviously, that's going to be online, so they'll be.
I was just about to say online, yeah.
Yeah, different kettle of fish against M80 as well. Obviously, a different caliber.
Yeah,
of
well,
players.
man.
Another great NA team, isn't it?
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, they're on NA team.
Not like they have much time to be.
No, but I think
Progressing up.
if, in all honesty, you know, that does suck a little bit for Vitality. They have to fly back and play almost instantly, but they're
Pa
playing
što
it.
vezuju, brate,
They're gonna
za
win.
dinare,
Put
brate,
blindfolds on
kredite,
and then
jevi.
they get a bit of a break.
Should
So
we
maybe
make them
that's
do that? Should we actually put blindfolds on them?
they still win.
Guys, and this is like let's not handicap them even more. Like let him get back on the horse. All right, can we help him out a little bit?
I think for Vitality, they'll definitely say like, listen guys, this event is a one-off in terms of we were really sick doing it and everything. Don't think about it too much, but we have to turn, you know, like we sort of, some things have to change. Like we have to, this can't keep happening, you know. It's going to be 2 months now into the season, a month and a half into the season, right? It's starting to become a trend. It's not more flash in the pan, right? It's becoming the recipe, and I think that's what you want to avoid if you're Vitality. And it's very, very important in a way, again, to not panic.
Jebi ga, neko nema velje opcije, brate, znaš, nije to, brate, sad kao da ljudi žele. Mada imaš ti dobre, dosta ljudi, ovih bogatih, sve rade na kredit, brate, na dug. Upisuju porez, brate, i boli ih kurac, znaš. Kad će u penziju snagu ili u pičku, brate. Samo da ne sedi ovako pimp, sve bi bilo dobro.
STRIX had a controversy with the old iteration of Vitality. That was kept as a secret for a long, long time, and there's been plenty of other teams throughout the history, you know, where we know from the inner circuits that a certain player has been, you know, maybe acting out a little bit, a practice is going poor, there's been a bad attitude, etc., etc. It's always, you know, hard from the outside to.
Pa Raš, ja se nadam da će mi dati da streamujem nešto.
Is there maybe potentially a player within Vitality who came?
Are you working yourself into the joke question that I asked you? Is that where this is headed?
I'm just leaving.
You dodged it, and now you're circling right back.
I'm leaving a small door open because if there's anything history has taught me is that it's never as pretty from the outside as it is from the inside. It's always like this whole, you know, Christmas happy family picture, and then everyone is fighting on the inside. You know,
respect, because he did start that by saying, "I'm going to say something crazy." And he was spot on. It was really crazy.
The problem with that a little bit is the fact that
Shorts, da dođe do
no one has an
sledećeg.
ego on that team, say for Apex, who makes up for everyone else in a way, but that could be the problem.
Ovako je 10 puta zanimljivije, brate. Nije toliko, brate, onako
but then again, if you win everything for 6 months, maybe some
oficijalno,
maybe they
razumiješ?
build up a bit of an ego. You know, we honestly we don't know.
You think Mazzy has an ego, man?
He's from
Probably
the
this guy.
UK. He's from Stourbridge.
He leads beans.
Mate, he's a Brit.
Možeš pričaš, možeš čatkaš, ja ti odgovaram na pitanja. Igramo klađu, rokamo ovo, neki giveaway, vamo, tamo.
And I mean, in one sense, that there's some truth to it, because truth to like Apex wanting some of the other players to have an ego. That's what he's been telling ZywOo for years. Like, we need you to be the guy. Need you to step up. That's essentially.
He's making small steps. ZywOo is making baby steps towards at least saying, okay, I am one of the best players, not just palming off and going, but my teammates
Pa
have
dobro je uradio.
sometimes he can own
The
it.
big surprise was him admitting that it got to him that he wasn't even in the conversation last year about being the best.
Ma da, bre, ništa formalno, sediš, časkaš, volim nas, kurac. Samo da vidim, jebi ga, da će mi daju da streamujem još, znam da će,
Shout out one time.
da sam još htio da vidim u pičku
We
macu.
really have,
ESL će da mi da,
Falcons,
eventualno na
obviously,
engleskom.
they're gonna be turning Fisher, ESL Pro
Znate šta je problem sa
as
SL-om?
well.
Problem sa SL-om što ne
The,
daju
conversation in terms of
ljudima YouTube toliko koliko im daju, brate,
and then maybe not be so,
Twitch, a ja ne volim Twitch i onda je, brate, kurčira. A, recimo, Fisher gledam da uzem ja, Fisher će bude dobar turnir, ja mislim.
players to bring into a lineup, right? So we also expect them to find success rather quickly. I think the next couple of events will show us whether or not KINGSTON, man on your screen right here, is going to be the in-game leader for the future of Falcons. You cannot get rid of MongolZ, obviously. You're not going to get rid of Nico. You're not going to get rid of Kyusuke either when you invest that much into him. So TeSeS and KINGSTON are your only two options to change anything. And maybe if TeSeS is not going to figure out his new roles, that could be a point of conversation as well. But for Nico to open this whole discussion saying that he is going to be an in-game leader at some point, I think that's opened the door already by now, that if they don't find success within the next 2-3 events, if they don't show an upward trajectory, then I think Nico and Falcons will hardly consider or highly consider going into 2026 him being the game leader.
Yeah, but when he wants to make that switch is the problem. I mean, even G2 was open to him doing
Vidjet ćemo za Fisher da će da mi daju.
so he was just very adamant about
Blast ne
not
verujem
to
da će da mi
upset
da,
him
brate, da
anyway.
ovo radim.
Still
Tako da,
get it eventually, but for now he still wants to. And let's say even if they want to make an in-game leader change at the end of the season, just hypothetically, doesn't mean that he would be the one taking over, right? If he says, no, I just still want to...
Maybe Honda from G2 can come back in.
Yeah, but I think for Falcons...
pa minimum 500 treba da ode, da.
There needs to be a lot more work done, you know, like when you see some of the T sides as well, some of the rounds with advantages, like
A Star Ladder jebem li ga, verujem da će moći. Zato što će to da bude public. Nadam se. Mislim, moralo. Ja sam okej sa Star Ladderom, ono, gotivi oni mene, gotivi ja njih. Samo što je problem, recimo, dosta njih ti ne da imaš sponzore svoje.
Like after those two events, you get to see the body of work and see if there's improvement, and then we'll be able to
stavimo ono kao Star Ladder Ukrajina, ovo ono i rusku zastavu.
I think this was actually a really good event for Falcons. Like the Counter-Strike didn't look the prettiest in the world, but they finished third place.
Vidio sam šta je rekao, brate, serem se.
not that hot of a take, Jason, but yeah.
Deo je online, deo je LAN.
We're talking about roster changes with Falcons
Well,
and
no,
like
Jacob's
negative.
talking about roster changes.
Slavene, nema donacija. Ne želim donacije, ne želim ništa, brate, nikakve pare od viewera.
But if you're Falcons, you're latching onto that and being like, hell yeah, guys, we lost to them 4 times in the first half, you know, over the course of this year.
Neću da uzimam nikakve pare od ljudi koji me gledaju, jer ne radim ovo za pare, generalno. Mislim, uzet ću pare od sponzora, kako budu nekad bili, ali od ljudi baš da uzimam, to mi nije bi baš. Ne volim. Mogu da ljudi supportuju, brate, mogu da ljudi supportuju na druge načine, ono, tipa gledanjem streama, lajkovanjem i tim stvarima. To ne košta ništa, brate, pogotovo zamisli od Srba, brate, da uzimam donacije, brate, ljudi sastavljaju kraj s krajem, ja živim ovde, brate, u kući od, ne znam, 200 kvadrata i treba da uzimam od ljudi po par eura svaki dan, boli me kurac, razumeš. Ako ćeš da me supportuješ, brate, supportuj me samo, brate, tako što će da dođeš, brate, u dobrom raspoloženju, brate, i da klikneš like. I ništa više, brate, mi ne treba.
It was pretty obvious that Tessus did a fantastic job in Falcons in his previous role, right? It was pretty obvious that Magisk was going to be the guy that will replace, but now moving into this new iteration of Falcons where you bring in Kyusuke, maybe Magix would have been a better fit in that role that Tessus is.
Jebi ga, premijer je leglo čitara.
Tessus is not a better player than Magix, because I think he is called him the best Danish player, and I think he did a tremendous job in Falcons before they got Kyusuke, but it does...
Pa ne veruju da je dobar,
the way they try to build this roster is just they're honing in on firepower in every single role. Maybe sometimes a bit of glue, you know, maybe
Best of 5, Huki.
who's willing to do all the shitty roles, but actually to a decent level is better than forcing Tessus, who did a good job in some.
Vi, šta misliš, hoće li biti nekih promjena u Falconsima? Pa ja mislim da do Majora ne.
I think there's two arguments I'd say to counter that. One would be, first of all, the individual level of Magisk when they were making this decision just dropped off a cliff. Like he just wasn't there. Tessus meanwhile in those early Falcons rosters when he joined was doing some hard carry maps, hard carry series, was playing very
different
well.
roles.
Yeah, I know.
Like
You could say roles all you want, but if you're not fragging, you're not going to be good at any role. And Magus wasn't fragging.
Jeste, Sergix, tako je.
If you're going to be functional in that
A
role.
i ove je došao, Falconsi došli po Sampaiusa.
What are you arguing, Jacob? Sorry, just to actually circle back to the point. They should have kicked Tessus instead of.
I'm arguing that I think Falcons have taken a risk by going all in on firepower instead of also trying to build up a more.
Well, when you've got Kyusuke, Manasi, and Nico.
Ne može čitara si igra, da.
Going all in on firepower. What,
No, but why would you need Tessus to have more firepower than Magis then? Why would you hone in on the fourth player as well, having to have more firepower instead of having a player that's specialized in his role? I'll give you an example. Tessus is playing the inner bomb side, CT side train. Magisk is significantly better than Tessus at that right now. Maybe Tessus can evolve into becoming a player that's good at those roles, but that's a risk, right? That's a risk we don't know. Whereas for Magisk, at least you got a stable level in that. And I don't think Magisk were that bad.
Yeah, but
Da, to je onaj Cooper.
I didn't know that Tessus would move into all his roles like.
I mean, that's the unknown factor with Magis, though, is like the what if with Tessus is can he learn how to play these roles? The what if with
Vlado.
is he going to be fragging again? Like, is he going to get up to an individual level that can compete at tier 1 again?
I don't know. Give us the answer, Yanko.
Sutra snimamo podcaste.
I really like Tessus. Also, just his Yeah,
I remember
you
my second point. I
the
remember
Bukvalno,
my
Mato,
second
hoće li
point.
da krenu više, da ti pičku materiju.
Speak before it goes away again.
Would be what other team? Is any team like really clamoring for Magisk on the roster right now? Does he have market value across the scene? Is there any other team saying we could really use a really solid anchor who's really smart and really experienced and has four or five majors, whatever he has?
0.86 rating.
Like where, you know?
Yeah, I feel you. I think for Tessus, it's also his personality. You know, he reminds me a little bit.
Jam, Huke i Exe, da li misliš da bi bilo bolje na Major Best of 5 final? Da, 100%, brat.
Vibes up. He's never a negative influence on the atmosphere within the team, right? And he's also a guy who's not going
Kaže
to
u
be
polu jedan kreć, pa ajde više u pičku.
in terms of how the team is going to play on the macro, right? And you want to avoid having too many cooks.
Too many cocks. Sutra snimamo podcast, ljudi. Ide gas.
But it's also very early days, right? For a guy like that's the thing. That's why it's important what type of a guy you are and what sort of a teammate you are. If you're a, toxic personality.
Podcast je strava.
Searching for a better word.
Yeah.
Dobar bio prošli, jest. Biće dobar i ovaj. Samo se naspam. S Falcon sad osvojili EWC Global. Ja mislim da jesu.
I've got a very important question. Sorry to cut you off, Jacob. Who is the best cook? That is the best question, or the best way I can frame it. Who is going to be the MVP of this tournament? Current front runners are
Santaris. Jel radite neku tier listu? Pa sutra ne vjerujem da će biti tier lista, ali bit će oni gostiju i tier listi i tako sve. Pa sigurno znate koja će da bude. Sigurno znate, možda pogoditi. Koliko toliko.
I believe it happened once to Glaive in that Astralis era as well, where he beasted it up in a tournament in the States or somewhere, in China, I can't remember, but to be completely honest...
Beijing,
there we go, I am Beijing, and he was playing with the Orc as well all the time long. I remember that shitty era of Counter-Strike. To be completely honest, Blitz, I think he can do it, and I think the Mongols are the favorites to win, so why not?
I think I'd lean towards...
I am Beijing, gubio sam u finalu tu od Astralisu.
He's been the number 2 player of this event, right behind ZywOo for all through the rest of the rounds. And Techno just recently, after last night's game, overtook him in that regard. So if you're just going to go by top rating, it might very well end up being Techno. But if you think about the kind of body of work Blitz has put into this tournament, it's so incredible to see him play like this.
It might just be the Techno tournament. You know, sometimes it happens.
I'm not sweet, I'm not a girl, man. I'm calm because I just woke up.
It's probably going to be thanks to him. So, yeah, and in this one, unlike
a man cannot be as sweet.
$50,000.
Very nice.
So quite important, actually.
Extra bit of stake on that. Let's dive into the map videos, of course.
Evo ga, Veto.
Coming out from either side.
Bring me over, Pat. Bring me over.
Yeah, the order
just Rev.
matters massively in this. Mirage makes sense, though, for the Mongols.
Yeah, I think it was always going to be their pick. It's their favorite.
Aurora,
almost every series that's available, they go ahead and pick it. I wonder, Aurora, if they go for Dust 2, and they do end up going
Aurora
for
Dust 2.
I've been a couple of close losses to Mongols in games where they...
What to 7? Uf, patice, a?
Get out of control.
Si htio da pecneš nešto.
Do the Mongols pick Nuke after yesterday? Do they go for Inferno? I think it's going to be one of those 2 maps.
I would imagine. Okay, I was going to say
Nuke?
It's going to be Nuke. I swear I was going to say that. So
yeah, sure, you were going to say that.
The last 2 remaining. Safe ground, overpass as a decider.
That's for me, that's
dobre mape, dobre.
For the Mongols. Mirage, Dust 2, Nuke, that was the 3 maps they were going to play against Vitality the other day as well. 3 of the most played maps as well, going into pretty much any series out there, regardless of the opposition. So for them to have 3 very comfortable maps to start off with, that's pretty much perfect.
And I mean, when you consider how many times they've played Vitality, all with pretty similar map pools, Mirage and Inferno featuring in like 95% of those games, Nuke there frequently as well, they're extremely battle-tested on those 3 maps.
And even last time they were down 11-0 and still managed to take it to overtime and win in overtime.
CSGO 2009.
No matter what happens on this map, they will have belief that they'll end up on top.
Now that we've got the maps,
Ja znam za jednu situaciju, ali
is going to be winning this grand final.
ne znam za mnogo, ne znam za opremu, baš znam za jednu kao deo opreme. I to je bilo u Rumuniji, ali to je bilo
Santaros, if he shows up like he has been throughout the rest of the tournament so far, they can
Ne znam
make it
koja godina
competitive.
to
I'd
možda
say 3-1, 3-2,
2011.
MongolZ is winning.
I think at this event it feels very 50-50 with the way the two teams are playing, but the body of work over the last few months has to have me leaning
Mogu
towards
da se
Mongols, and I
setim.
think it's a must-win trophy for them.
Ali davno.
I think Mongols 3-0. I don't think Zantares keeps up the level of performance he's had so far in the tournament. I think Aurora is way more prone to getting frustrated. The pressure of a grand final is something they haven't felt this year.
Skrim u kvotu 7, brate. Sad i mene 5 snume, brate, ovaj s
Outside
kvotom
of that, I
7.
think the Mongols
Pa zato što nemam ovog mog social media menadžera,
Teams
jebi.
have been chasing a tier 1 trophy all year long. It's time to kick off the EWC Grand Finals.
To je mi social media manager. Ako budem dobio sponzora nekog, brate, ima zaposli nekoga da mi, brate, izbacuje to svaki dan kad se mladi. Nego da vidimo tu kvotu 7, matice. A tu je i njega sam i pitao, brate, ali... Nemam sad... Mislim imam, ali... Hoću da odvojim da tipa, ako dobijem sponzora nekog kao da... Aj, pričat ćemo poslije da vam ne kvarim sad intro.
Seven weeks of intense competition featuring hundreds of clubs, thousands of players, and $70 million. During that time, we've witnessed more triumph and heartbreak than ever before. More tears shed, more champions crowned, and now we reach our grand finale.
One last battle remains, one final team to rise above them all. Tonight, the eyes of the world are fixed on this stage for the grand final of Counter-Strike 2 at the Esports World Cup.
And we have got two incredibly deserving finalists who want their shot at an EWC legacy and the chance to raise this trophy high in the air as confetti rains down.
One last step towards glory. Let's welcome our first grand finalists on the stage. Give it up for the Mongols! They denied vitality again and reach a third grand final of the year. After near misses in Austin and a blast bounty fall, EWC's top performing team now stand on the brink of their first trophy with a nation behind them.
Bukvalno, brate.
Their opponents, Aurora!
Rah-rah!
They eliminated the home favorites and earned a first final under their new banner. A win here not only secures their spot in the Club Championships top 10, but proves they truly belong among Counter-Strike's elite.
The
Aurora.
very last grand final of the Esports World Cup 2025. It's time to crown Counter-Strike's kings.
It's time for a grand final. Aurora versus the Mongols here. Best of five, $500,000 on the line for first place, and two squads have been on the brink of victory throughout the last year. One of them gets to lift that trophy today.
Yeah, it's been an incredible year.
Čuvam na hard disku, brat. Ne na hard disku, na onom kao ledgeru. Van, brate. Van kompova, van ono svega.
No trophy lifted for Aurora. Haven't seen them in a grand final since the start of the year. They look to return and make a statement here against the Mongols. It's never going to be an easy game.
Ko mi je tražio, brate, onaj kvotu 7, evo, napravio
As
si.
of late, taking down Vitality not once but twice, proving it again here at EWC. And certainly favorites for this series, certainly more proven map pool. But I think for Aurora, right now, they're running on a high. Great result at this event, taking down FaZe with a fantastic overpass showing as well, and eliminating Falcons 2-0 last night. It's been a great tournament for Aurora. Where does the ceiling lie?
Yeah, when we take a look at the Mongols on the other side of the stage, a team that you've seen go from strength to strength, worries about where the ceiling lays for this squad, desperate to finally break through with the trophy lift. It's been a good tournament for a couple of key players here. 9-10 stepping up in some big moments. Going to be keeping a close eye on him heading into this final. Someone who's had, you know, that tendency to fall off a little bit. Same can be said for Senzu. But both of them have been hitting hard here on the run through EWC.
Despite that, I mean, the top two players with Techno and Blitz up there for Mongols is so exciting, considering, you know, we look at this team and we talk about the powerhouse AWP, we talk about how...
Mislim da svi navijaju za Mongole, neće niko za Turke, brat.
It's been Techno, the statistical outlier, going above everyone else in the server. Of course, new...
Kako je, brate, isto su odigrali Bolestonu 1-3.
Right now, as one of the more experienced pieces inside of this squad. It's such a young team in the Mongols. You want to talk experience, Aurora had that in spades, years of play from players like Madra and Zantares, but still, Harry, no tier 1 trophies to their name.
Yeah, I mean, you know, both these squads kind of at that breakthrough point now in this final. For the Mongols, it's been a short-term meteoric rise, both representing their nations. For the side of Aurora, this has been a long-term goal, thinking back to when Zantares first exploded onto our screens over a decade ago. Well, he showed his prowess. 30 years old, taking down some star-studded lineups on this run into the final, including, you know, the team of superstars in that Falcons matchup.
And considering how high his ceiling is, it's incredible to think at, you know, 30 years of age, he's now coming through and still contending for titles and arguably playing some of his best CS yet, at least on a team level without a doubt. But even as an individual showing up in such a huge way, he had an incredible T-side against the Falcons yesterday, not just on Inferno, but across train as well. So it really is an exciting time to be watching Zantares in the current day. Here we go though, folks. BO5 grand final on the line at EWC between Mongols and Aurora.
Dao sam ti, Mato.
We're going to start things off on the Mongols pick of Mirage. Bit of a home map for the
Odigrao sam ovo što sam napisao za 150, nego nisam teo da vas menjam ovo. Ajmo da imam pištolj.
Zantares is the one they're going up against. It smokes down. No path.
Može da funkcioniše, brate, da budu top 5.
Jota will be required to pull their weight. An immediate dink found. Jota still gets out with one. Magic dead straight away.
Koliko je preživio ovaj, dobro je.
Swarm over this B site. Aurora arriving late and a man down in this retake.
Ma da, ono tvoj username.
Blitz buys him time to get this bomb in the bomb site.
Ko će staviš username s onim brojem, valjda, je li tako, Mato?
Against the clock.
kill given over. Woxic makes it work. 3v3 here, and they're all coming together through the door. Senzu has that cross, calling on contact, hits his headshot. The swing is a little late. His teammates come out to support, and Mongols just sweep that one aside. Pistol round goes their way, and that means so much on this T side. Des mentioned it as well. We just saw these guys take each other on a bounty. It was 11-1 CT halves into an overtime game. Mongols 11-1 down, one out that map on Mirage. So T-side rounds, not just hard to come by, but vitally important. Pistol locked in and Aurora force up.
No one taking any crazy risks here at the start of this round. Techno the furthest forward, while the rest of the team try and go for this mid control. It's respectful to open up. I mean, there's a good degree of familiarity between these squads.
Pa onda je to. Ako si dobili da lagano.
It's a matchup that always delivers. It's one that always feels close.
Tu bez splita na B nema nikog.
That's what they have to tell themselves for the last 4 times of play. Mongols winning it out 3 times. Track record has only been improving as they have done the same. So Aurora have to believe it's close. They have to believe.
Swede, I have no idea, honestly. Could be.
Couple of exits here on the way out, but it's a Mongols round, like it or not.
I mean, this was just going to be the save. You wonder if those couple of kills, if they can find one more, I think you're very enticed here. A lot of time ticked off this bomb short.
Just run back.
Major out of position, and Zantares committed to this, but he's doing it all alone. Gonna go fishing and see what he can find here around short.
Safe. Sačuvaj taj Turci. Janjičan.
Still a pretty good save here for Aurora, getting some guns out, getting another chance at this force buy. The Mongols get what they bargained for on that B-bomb site. Oh, Woxic dead with a scout at the end, so...
Iskreno, brate, da igram, brate, protiv Turaka, potpisao bi se, brate, Marko Kraljević. Ili možda Karađorđe. Karađorđar, Kara i Kassad. Kara Kassad.
So back we go. Mongols straight out middle, playing with some confidence here. 2 teams who have had trouble adjusting to the stage in this year. Both of them somewhat overcoming this issue.
Šta je da, bukvalno šta je s fanovima?
End their season in a major grand final. Seen them pick up more and more victories in arenas, in playoffs. Seen Senzu have better games when he was someone who was struggling so much, completely absent at the start of the year when they started to make playoffs. Seen Mongols just been a safe bet for top 4.
Da su im platili, brate, ovima, ono, tipa dok su kao, dok i Falcons igraju, vi navijate. Kad prestanu, vi prestajete.
So they know this is their best opportunity yet. A familiar foe, a matchup they've won many times. And a BO5 with a more proven map pool.
The idea for a little gimmick there on Zantares, trying to put him in position to succeed. And you see the stack being pulled together here for Aurora.
Pita čovjek ili može da izmeni nikako je pogrešio da prijavi. Pa ne znam, Nutelica zna, brat. Neka ga neko taguje, brat. Kako mi raste ovaj stream, brate, morat ću da zaposlim neke ljude, brate, ono da radi. Budem ono, jebi ga, preduzetnik pravi. Odnosu na ovo što sam lažan.
You know, it's a nice bait and switch for Major. Would have loved him to hold the shot. Look at how this second player turns away, doesn't check after getting the kill onto Woxic. If Major doesn't fire off there, maybe he can get multiple kills and that round could be more interesting for Aurora. You are rolling the dice with the resolution of your opponent. coming around each corner there. So he just takes what he gets. Full buy comes through, Woxic Orb, and Wakadia as well.
Oglas na posao, gdje brate, na Infostudu.
Aurora, missed shot for Woxic through the window.
Plaćam u kriptu,
Own that
brate.
mid control coming out from under as well.
Če kupiš Ethereum kao, kasade 4200. Važi, brate.
Going about taking this staging platform every time, and Aurora have kind of given up the room gladly. Even a double AWP pulled out here for the Aurora CT side, an expensive investment in
Ovo je u prozoru, brate, Blej.
So you kind of need it to find success.
You know, Mongols love
Loše,
these
brate.
splits, though, so already seeing
Loše sam spao.
into this bomb site.
Onda ću da promenim mesto od Ušeku, brate.
Deep apps info from Wakadia.
Opa, evo ih, brate, publikanti.
Even this jiggle gives it away.
Jonah in the feed as well. That's the short component of this split removed. And even as Blitz tries to claw one back with this backstab.
Ne da hrčem, nego, brate, ide samo ono ra, 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 ra.
Backstab on Wakadia. Zantares with the instant trade. And 9-10 walks to his demise. Blitz unable to open the back door. And so Aurora get on the board early. And we'll lose that double AWP setup.
Kako 4 lajka, si refreshao to, brate.
Yeah, it looked a bit scary there with Wakady's back open, but Zantares aware.
Ja vidim 136, brate.
Better than lining up. Got this eco out. Blitz always a captain who loves to pull in a hero gun into a round like this. Many teams set up their stars. Blitz says, watch this. And often comes through with devastating results.
Ra, ra.
Already, but he's been having a great tournament individually.
Not just one tournament though, kind of back to back. Bounty was excellent as well. Pulling up clutches out of nowhere. Being the anti-AWP. Definitely a guy you want to keep your eyes on in this final. Most potent fragging in-game leader right now at the top of Counter-Strike. Tries to put it to use, but...
Evo to uzeli jednu rundu, ovi odmah bacili ih na eko, brate.
That's, you know, revealed the trick early to Aurora. They know about this hero gun now. It's an expectation you might have had with how the Mongols like to go for these types of buys, but now you've got it confirmed. Everything just tightens up on the defense. They know the Mongols are going to pull in little tricks, little gimmicks to try and get Blitz involved. The window boost was proof enough for that.
Ludak od marcipana.
Following through with aggression after spotting the gun down in lower tunnels. He's on for a backstab here.
600 zaposlenih, brate.
Multiple players, backs turned. Zantares, a lot of damage.
Ne znam, nisam proverio Nikola još. Nemam pad.
You ain't beating him with a Glock. Zantares cleans up.
360, classic Zantares.
Aha, Dino, misliš kao u isto vreme? Pa kako da, brate, radim to i da ko će da mi, brate, ono, bude moderator tu? Ko znam šta će se desiti?
This next buy will not be pretty as well. Mongols, I think this is something they've gotten better with as time has gone on, but especially when they were breaking out, we were seeing this team make very audacious purchases, a lot of force buys, you know, making risky investments deep in games at 10-10. You could choose to eco, you still have the room to it, they would all in back.
Pa Mata, pa ne mogu očekujem od Mate, jebi ga da ono sad tu Blade ceo dan svaki dan, brate. Ko zna kakvi šiptari će dođu.
Unless we see Galils come through, gonna have to make some weaker buys work. So 2 Galils, some more utility, at least Mongols prioritize.
Kurcem katran miješ.
I think on the flip side to that, Aurora have had great economy management throughout this tournament. I've liked a lot of their decisions. I think Madge has really worked on trying to finesse, you know, breaking this new CT money in particular. We'll see more of that in the second halves. Aurora always a team that are down to hunt, and it's quite complementary to Madge's 1-4 style of cooling. Oftentimes you'll have your extremity player trying to remove as many guns as possible. That's in an era where it feels like CTs get more.
Žoto, prošao mu ovaj Miki, prošao ti.
With one hell of a catch to open up this round, plays on a timing through the ramp smoke.
Kako tako ne overi desno, brate, ko čupa je. Moj te lupa. Nabode ih Santares, druže.
Into Aurora's advantage. Blitz makes it in. Chance at a bomb plant. Mazzinho providing cover. Aurora gonna leave this one into a retake. Flurry of util comes out very early here.
Santares se zabacio, brate, na flank.
This is him trying to be unexpected at low health. He just
Bacite neki flash, pecti malo nešto, čuo te, ne. Najbolje trči do, brate, Slavi, ako možeš. Idi u pičku materinu, brate.
Now left in the clutch, teed up ramp side. Does Mazzinho have it in him? Got to get on this defuse now. There's the first out of Mazzinho, but bomb not planted for him. Wakadi is off the defuse.
Ovo je pustio defuse.
Time for it.
A nije imao, brate, defuzač.
Naja had the kit on the cross. He throws a smoke on the bomb, but he doesn't make it into the site.
Nemoj da ručiš, šta jedeš, priznaj, reci šta jedeš.
Really awkward way to lose that round out, not having the kit on the diffuser. And if anything, the big flank for Zantares,
ali ih je nabo dvojicu, brate.
slows the whole round down, and it is time that is the demise of Aurora. So nothing they can do there, despite a very closed plan for Mazzinho.
Kako je moguće da ovaj lik, koliko ima para, brate?
It's that one kill that matters.
Koliko je on imao para kad nije imao za defuse, brate?
And Aurora force up again with a double orb. Really
Odlično, strava. Pa je liš, kako pitanje jebote, liš duplo bolje. Liš bi osvojio Grand Slam, čovjek.
But also just the shortened halves, meaning you don't have as many gun rounds. Few teams really do this. And that's Aurora, both chances they have.
Ja ne mogu da, ja sam ostao speechless.
I think it might also just be knowing how much the Mongols love to do these B splits.
Liš je poreklom iz Republike Srpske, ako se ne varam.
Orb stay focused on the sights. Mid control again, alleviated. Zantares. Choice made for him.
Prvo su nam uzeli liš, da?
Blitz gets up in a power position. Will be a split.
Jablanović, pa Jablan, brate.
Three strong now. Zantares making steps. Is he cognizant?
Vidi ga Turčin, zna, mamo mu jebe. Ludi Osmanlija, brate. Vidi ga Osmanlija, ga namirisao ga, brate. Šta ti bi, Voxiku, ispade mu mič, brate. Namirisao ga, brate, Osmanlija, brate, rekao je, gde si pošlo, bre? Kakva deće, udarit će, brate, Sulejman treći na Džengis Kana. Salahudin, brate.
For the Mongols, so not only can he assist if a B hit comes out of nowhere, but he's also still got info. He's still playing for the round. Zantares has come in looking really strong to this series. Of course, a requirement if Aurora are to upset. Zantares.
Ruka ruci, za kurac me povuci.
Again, clearing positions, this time early in the round. Look at what it's done to the mini-map. Aurora fully rotate out. They know Mongols, with the map this quiet, are just setting up for an execute. Zantares even clearing.
Sedmi na tabeli.
The smokes go over the A bomb site, and this one is obvious for Aurora. They've got everyone here.
Woxic tries to open think down range, and as the pistols close in, he just puts distance between himself and the Mongols.
Da li ima išta gore nego kad te zalepe u glavu, brate, ovako.
Now Zantares closing the net on this backstab. Techno not long for this world as Aurora closing around him. Wakadia to put him down and Aurora tie this up at 4 apiece.
Techno.
I mean, even killing Zantares and getting rid of his AK is a nice thing to do on an eco. They don't save the AK-47. Mag just stays on the fan.
City 1, Liverpool 2, Arsenal 3, Chelsea 4, Tottenham 5, Newcastle 6, United 7. Ne može. Uzeli i Kanadu. Jest.
This is a promising start. Wakadia and Zantares both have dominated CT side. Zantares playing with a
Dobro, ne mogu baš da igraju. Mada ko zna.
He's keeping that up into the final. He's been super proactive. He's been all over the map. You don't really know where you're going to
Tako krene Liga šampiona, pa kad imaju 350 utakmica, vrate, i kup, i vrate, Liga kup, i FA kup, i kup slobode. Tečevi kadija, brat.
And an AWP and an eco round like this now posted in the post plant. This is not insignificant. Blitz given time to maneuver. Nearly a full eco round here from the Mongols.
Pratim tu i tamo, brate. Mislim, pratim Partizan, naravno. Jao. Techno Deagle, brate. Idemo na F4. Ma makar u playoff dođu.
What a mistake for Wakadia. He gives it up entirely. It looked perfect to go play.
Stvarno mnogo ubijaju, dobro su dezertima, brate.
Okay, you lose to FAMAS. It's really not the end of the world. You'd rather prioritize Deagle with no armor anyway most of the time. But then you go back into the bomb site after a missed shot. When you see them flooding out, there's times you just got to leave your team behind. Gives them an AWP. And they give them a round. That's a full eco win for the Mongols. Even a ramp boost for Blitz with that AWP finds Woxic. So not only do they get out with an eco win, now they have a double AWP kicking. This has gone from good to bad very quickly.
4 puta $100 u skinovima, ja mislim, ili u nečemu, ne znam. To je takav ti giveaway. Juče je prošao tiket pa rekao da one ljude malo častim. Lik uđe sami, brate, očisti sajtost. Pa pogodio sam 2-3 tiketa. Na jednom sam uzeo 2100, na jednom sam uzeo 600, a sam izgubio 200-300, tako nešto. Tako da neki 2500, ajde da kažeš.
Absolutely takes the cake and ruins Aurora's half. The eco win that is going to leave.
Pa nek bude ostoja centar. Ide, dobro. Zadovoljan sam, srećan sam kako pogađa.
Big round for Senzu. It's really not been anything crazy from him in this tournament. We talk about him, farming group stages and then dropping off on stages. Well, here in a single elimination.
Treba nam Đuro Ostojić.
Every map. Every match in the playoffs. Senzu has come in a little colder. They're still with those glimmers. That's a great
pa mislim me neko pitao to juče oko 60k, tako nešto. Mogu se setiti da li 65 ili 55, jedno od dva. Ma koji bleed, daj kurčinu bleed.
Even if this ends B, very little to hold down this push.
I don't think it will either because Blitz is really curious about top.
Ujebem ti ova nabada ovaj lik.
I mean, that is one of the B players, so it's not a hell of a lot of info here. With Blitz having pushed all the way through jungle and taken all this space, is he going to commit to a backstab?
I think he wanted to flank, but they've realized it's probably just a B stack, so no point. Just take that bomb up con and go together. Block makes it clear. Blitz has emptied out the bomb site. And there's nowhere to go here for Aurora.
Znači, bili smo u blatu, ustali smo iz blata, srce nam je iz blata i dušu dižemo iz blata. Jebote, turski tata. Ako izgube, bit će gori, sigurno. Mada i ako pobede, bit će ono... Želeo bih da se zahvalim blatu. Znači, strašno. Cringe merchant.
Coming into that last round, but also I think they need a breather. They need to talk it out. So everyone sits back, they crack open a drink, they get ready.
Falcon si sami sebe krunišno, kao ja, bravo, najbolji ste. Onaj Obama kad mu daje onu medalju na sam sebe stavi.
It really could have been. That eco win changed everything. And Mongols capitalized, soaring for an 8-4 half. Aurora burn a timeout.
Želeo bih da se zahvalim kosmičkoj energiji koja mi je digla iz blata. Moja duša i telo iz blata. Ko zna, brate, možda?
Util and no kit in play in this final round.
Voda, vatra, snijeg, kiša, vjeta, Allah se uvali.
The Mongols have had middle whenever they want it on this T side.
Ja ne mogu ovako raditi.
On the outskirts of the map, they go and sniff out Mazinho on a late lurk. Over in Palace, that's a nice leg up here for Aurora, an untraded.
Tandara i Mandara.
Make a play together. They have two players going for that move, so even if something goes wrong, you have a way to remedy it. 5v4, freeze up, more rotates, back to B.
To će Zonik, ja ne mogu ovako raditi. Dajte mi još jednog superstara.
Take some space and they keep it. Mongols sending that bomb through the apartments. Again, a similar setup with Woxic just controlling information towards the spawn.
Nemam, to je Janko je delom blasting tu. Ja sam na početku bio u priči, ali nisi mi se nešto svidjela ta kombinacija i uopšte se nisam bakto s tim.
1v1 ahead of him for this bomb control.
Kengura da zove. Stipne normal.
Crossfire gets established. Aurora will find something down the tail end of this CT half. The Mongols in the lead on their map pick as they look for this opener in the BO5 grand final.
Znate šta mi nije jasno, ljudi? Sa Veljom, recimo. Velja se druži, vrate, sa Bakom, tako? Ne, ja droge ne uzimam nikad. Ja ne pušim, drogiram se, ne pijem kafu. Ne znam šta još. Ali šta ste da vam kažem, Velja. On streamuje, jel tako? Streamuje svaki dan. A druži se, brate... Druži se, brate, sa Bakom. Zašto nekako ne pomogne oko streama, Bako? Miroljub Petrović buzdovac. Ovi buzdovani što se drogiraju. Pa ne preporučujem Trust Wallet za čuvanje kripta neke velike cifre. Možeš ono tipa da tu petljaš, ono, vraćaš, praviš trade-ove, ali da čuvaš neku veću sumu, nemoj. Imaš onaj Ledger, Live, tu bi trebalo da su. Pa ne, ću ti kažem, ok, sredio im je to iskusne kockare, mislim, ok. Ali, brate, ono, tipa da mu podigne YouTube kanal na neki novi nivo, razumeš, i stream na neki novi nivo, brate, da ono, ubaci tako, razumeš. Binance mi je bio na... Ne razumeš me, FJ, ne znam kako se zoveš, jebiga. Ali, kako im ono, da uradi neku ono, da zajedno streamuju nešto, da mu dođe, da mu Blaze s njim na streamu, da... Znaš, tako nešto. To, bukvalno, dođe odigra s njim 2 mape. Betove, pa ja ne kačim nešto mnogo betove, neko mi je tražio malo pre, brate, kvotu 7, pa sam napravio na brzinu za sitne pare neke. Pa jeste, znam, ali... znam, ali fore treba naći neki legitiman sajt, da ne uzmem ono tipa cs kurčina.gg, nego nešto da bude kojima ljudi veruju. I da stavim svoje ime iza toga, nije to baš... Ne kladim se na NBA i to bre sve nameštaljke. Evo je Mica, Edward. Evo je Mica. Evo je Mica moja, doći tako te, moja mačka jedna. Moj sam doći.
Surprise, he's going to have to earn this clutch, and they're swinging on him from the spawn. Aurora start this second half off with a bang, a big 3K from Woxic in the pistol.
Yeah, P250 king on this guy. Good time for it. Mara not impressed. As Mongols now need to dig deep into their pockets firstly. We know they love a force buy. It's very hard to turn away from the opportunity on this CT side. So UMP, MP9, a little bit of everything here into the second round.
Kako znaš, Dučel?
Don't you dare.
55 inča, vatica. Skoro ko moj Đoka. Ma, mislim, ne znam koliko su oni legit ti CSGO skins.
9-10 scout, tag down range. Softened up Magic.
A šta je, Mico? Šta je bil?
Slowed this creep out through mid.
Dobro, hehe.
Just continuing to harass from the top of ticket.
Legit po tebi za skinove. Pa neću da ti reklamiram, brate, ono... Ali jebi ga. Ne znam. Imaš na... Pokazat ću ti samo kad završi mapa, aj podsjeti.
Proves to be a safe round in the end out of Aurora to tie us up at 7-all.
Yeah, I can't say 9-10 didn't have a couple of
Tradit sam ja koristio i skin port za tradovanje i kupovanje skinova. Znate da sam ja imao dobar deal i bili su stvarno korektni likovi prema meni. Bili su stvarno korektni likovi prema meni, Skin Club je bio baš korektan. I onda je bila ona cela priča sa shipterima i likovi kao mi ne možemo kao da podržavamo to, kao naši moramo da prekinemo saradnju. Da mislim?
no eco wins in the second. These MongolZ Deagles can be deadly. As Aurora look to just keep it basic, they were going to walk out ramp there, but
Pa zato što su na HLTV-u napisali ono kad je bio onaj EV, kako se zove ono, ISF, napisali, brate, kako je u Prištini, razumeš to, i napisali kao Kosovo zasebna država, razumeš, i ja odgovorio, rekao, brate, pogrešno ste napisali Kosovo, trebali ste napišete Srbija, razumeš. I onda su šiptari poludeli potpuno, brate, i krenuli da spamuju, brate, Skin Club, i Skin Club kao naš. Kao ne možemo mi da podržavamo to. Mislim se jebe vam mat. Sergix, odigrao sam na jednom tiketu kvota 7, mislim da je bila, ili 5,5. 3 plus Monaco, 3 plus Villarreal i Manchester daje 2 gola. To sam odigrao za sitno. A kvota 2 sam napravio Manchester X2, Cats Ajax i 2 plus cela Brighton, Everton.
a single deagle and 4 Glocks, now one with 4 deagles, and they just steal it away. Techno on the A side, spamming around with that deagle.
Jebate ovih dobili
And MongolZ highway robbery onto Aurora. That was meant to be the lead, just handed over in the bag.
I think, you know, this is the thing.
A to sam mislio i ja da ih pitam, Vlado, isto.
They should be the ones winning this game. It's been 2 wild eco rounds that they've fallen down to, and if you can convert them, you know, you've done the hard part essentially.
Yeah, you can feel the ramifications immediately, right? Back in that previous half and here as well now. Tech9 and Mac 10.
I to ću da pitam i Rilog isto. Da ljudi koji, brate, disrespektuju, brate, Srbiju a oni rade sa njim. A znaš kako podržavaju Ukrajinu? Tako što stavi mi podržavamo Ukrajinu. Ne podržava se tako. Podržava se tako što, brate, šalješ odeću, hranu, sve što možeš da pošalješ, ako nemaš lovu, naravno, sve što možeš da pošalješ, brate, u humanitarne svrhe i šalješ ljudima koji su izbjegli iz Ukrajine zbog rata. Tako ih podržavaš, brate. A ne tako što će staviš zastavu na Twitter ili ne znam ja šta i da se praviš da si neki humanitarac.
That second shot is sensational. 9-10 in trouble. Will hold his oar.
Razumeš? Ti što se prave da su, brate, neki, ono, borba za ljudska prava i tako dalje, znaš. Znaš, oni podržavaju nešto, koji je ovaj Banks, brate, što je, brate, on podržava nešto. Gde su pare da otišao bi, brate, da radi turnir u, brate, ono, da ga ISIS zove, brate. Da bude host, otišao.
This game keeps on giving. Anyone's here. 8-8 down the stretch.
Naravno da nisam bio, brate, na nijednom HLTV eventu.
In a traditionally CT-sided head-to-head, but today T-side showing up.
Both teams have elected to run this double AWP on the CT side. MongolZ trying it now as well. Benzu in 9-10. Bring AWPs into the fray. This is, as was the case for Aurora in that first half, a costly investment with their backs against the wall, the money close to running out.
Sa HLTV-om,
In
brate.
their semi-final game versus the Falcons were able to break the money thrice over in the tail end of a very competitive match of Train. That eventually saw them through into this final.
Mislim, Relog ko Relog, Relog je dobar. Nisu oni, razumeš, nego, malo mi to smeta, ali nemam ja problem s tim. Više imam problem sa HLTV-om, koji, brate, tu dolazi u Srbiju, organizuje to, a isto tu Srbiju, brate, ono, disrespektuje na taj način i bukvalno se poserava po Srbiju tome, razumeš. Ako već ne možeš da ono, nećeš da se zameraš, brate, nemoj uopšte da pišeš takve naslove. Pa neće se ništa desiti, sve će ostati isto na Kosovu narednih 10 godina. Narednih 30 godina. Dok, brate, Amerika ne bude, kad Amerika prestane, brate, da bude super sila, što će se nikad desiti. Samo napisali, eto, samo način da su napisali Priština, brate, i to je to. Znači, ništa nije trebalo drugo, brate. Samo Priština je trebalo se napiše i tako dalje. Ne provociraš ti Srbe, ne provociraš ti njih, nego napišeš u kom se gradu održava i to je to. Bravo, Vox. Razumeš? A ovako uporno, brate, nam bodu oči. I bodu, i bodu, i bodu. I onda dođe u Beograd i kao pravi neku glamuroznu feštu, brate. Mislim, naš.
Getting it done with the rifle, a close on the AWP. You give Woxic his weapon of choice and he delivers. These clutch rounds have been the bread and butter of Aurora's success.
Pa ja sam iz Beograda.
Fantastic clutches from them across the tournament.
Mislim, rođen sam u Beogradu na Voždovcu, brate. Na opštini Voždovac, ajde da ne bude. Kod kojih provajdera, Grbiću? Pa kumodraš gore, brate, iznad trošarine, malo kod farmaceutku, blizu farmaceutku. Ha, ne znam, možda pitaš da zoveš Jeter i da pitaš.
Techno's pistol on the short side. Maybe got a gun for him here, but oh, ugly on the spam. 5-7 lets him down. Wakadia lets him know he messed up. And so Aurora, with ease, take the lead clean.
Couple of low players, that's the bomb. Okay. That's a follow-up for Mizinho. The two low HP players both knocked out, but the rifles are able to clean up. It's Zantares, 22 kills deep. Keeping up his fantastic form all tournament long. Only concerning game for him was the very first map they played here in EWC, and since that point, he has been red hot.
Yeah, I mean, that was a map where no one showed up for Aurora at all. There wasn't a single...
Aurora.
They got blown out by FaZe on Inferno. They locked in for the rest of the series. They dominated FaZe, eliminated them, and sent them into roster changes. Since that point, Aurora have been red hot. Could they really be taking MongolZ map pick, ever-present Mirage, by the end of...
A si ga pecno, 9-10, idi u pičku. Zantares širi i nabada samo, brat.
This guy has had enough. This guy is here for the MVP, 24-9. Just an unbelievable string of maps. Zantares here.
I mean, there's something so cool about that. You know, it really is. It's on a time scale that's really unique to Counter-Strike as an esport, right? And with how much history this game has, the fact that 10 years ago, a decade ago, that was when Zantares exploded onto our screens, and that was, you know, where you saw...
24-9 ima. Jebote, stvarno.
We all remember the old Space Soldiers roster, the idea that Woxic was never actually a part of that.
Gde se pojavio Shifter? A, misliš u kadru?
Where really everyone, you know, it was like a shared responsibility, but the fact it's still these same names 10 years on with a new crop of talent in there alongside them, and Wakadia and Jota, you know, players who would have been watching the Space Soldiers of old. And it's still Zantares.
Koji bre Shifter, gde? Klikni na ovaj link, Reka 33.
It's been the case of they've been making these playoff runs, they've been chasing the trophies, but they've been eluding them. The Mongols are still...
Odeš na link pa vidiš, sve lako je.
For Aurora, this has been, you know, a battle taking place over years. As far as they're concerned, the Mongols have 9 more years of this to put up with before they get to lift their first trophy.
Yeah, Mongols kind of speed run this playoff appearance, And they appear in as many times as Aurora do in 2025. 10 playoffs of the 12 events these two teams attend. And Mongols hit 3 grand finals, but they also taste that failure 3 times over. Aurora have been hungrily trying to get back to their winning ways. And now they've been given an opportunity against a familiar foe. They are not wasting that chance.
A ne znam, mora nekom u telicu da pita, ne znam šta. On je pravio to sve. Kad se završi game, odradit ćemo ga i koga jebe. Koga volio. Mico.
5v4, Mongols wanting to crunch middle. Got a nade for the window, not looking to do it. Just another solo.
Publika se ne čuje, ono, nisam ih čuo zadnjih 7 rundi. Šta se desilo? Mico, mačko jedan. Aha, chaos. Jebote, ubišu ih petoricu, brate. Je, pa zadovoljan sam sa rastom kanala, onako. Mislim da ne radim još uvijek ni blizu dovoljno stvari, iskreno. Trebalo bi da nisam, brate, slepac. Trebalo bi da izbacim jedan video nedeljno. To je realna priča. I trebalo bi da imam neki schedule, na primjer, kad streamujem, da ljudi mogu da znaju da dođu. A ne ovako da me gađaju, ono, u pasom da gledaju. Ali mislim da ima više ljudi na ovom call streamu nego kad ja igram, znaš.
Respect shown in the early stages of these rounds.
Mislim da dosta ljudi se izgubi, mislim ne dosta, ali određeni broj ljudi se izgubi kad se završi co-stream, ali nije loše ni co-streamovati, mislim, ne možeš stalno se igrati.
Searching on his AWP, but going to be hard pressed to find anything till they make their way through the connector.
Pa jest. Mislim i to je okej. Ne kažem ja da je to loše, nego je to samo tako. Da ja mogu da skupim 600-700 ljudi na ove call streamove, samo bi to i radio i malo bi igrao i kačio vide i to je to, razumiješ? Možda da li postoji 1000 ljudi koji gleda, brate, ovo na srpsku? Sigurno postoji.
Just trying to escape with their life, with their guns, but they get nothing after time. Hunted down, Maggia survives somehow, but his teammates not quite as lucky. Woxic loses all his money and that AWP.
Znači može se nakopi hiljadarka, brate. Mislim vremenom, jebi ga, šta ja streamujem, koji mi je ovo stream da kaže 20 sve u putu. Ja ne očekujem 1000 ljudi još godinu dana, minimum. I tako je, ne reklamiram se uopšte, ja samo upalim live ili ko dođe, došao je, brate.
On this secondary AWP holding on to the apartments. We saw this be the undoing of Aurora in that first half. It was Wicardia falling, gifting an AWP over.
Jeste, slažem se sa svima. Pa chat je do sad super, iskreno.
defense.
This would be a devastating way to lose a game for Aurora, wouldn't it? For it to come undone at the final hour off of that 3v5 with all the clutch rounds Aurora have won in this game. Mongols now come through with a flawless 5 alive.
Pa to ti kažem, da ima malo bolje reklame, promocije i toga svega.
The Mongols in a weird spot economically. It was Aurora with a lot of chances to punish here. They've missed that window of opportunity. So now it's a grind for Aurora in the dying lights of Mirage.
Pa jeste, ja nešto ne privlačim tu decu baš, od 9 godina da me gledaju, nego ovi ljudi što, prate kad. A svašta tu ima Dino opcija, nego sam ja, brate, nisam još se organizovao kako treba, znaš. Mislim, zato i kažem, mislim da ima mnogo opcija, mnogo ljudi i mnogo stvari koje treba da uradim, brate, da ga unapred. I mislim da eto ti sad ima, brate, koliko ima, brate? Koliko ima sad? 200 i nešto ljudi, čak ne. 240 ljudi. Mislim, 240 ljudi bez svega toga, znaš. To je, brate, odlično. Pa za to mi treba social media manager. Ne planiram filmska čarolija, ne planiram da se vratim jer je to, brate, kancer. Osim ako ne dođe neko sa nekom ponudom nenormalnom, baš kancer. Zar nije ovo bolje? Sediš, brate, časkaš s ljudima, malo gledaš kanter, malo se sprdaš, malo kladionicu, malo ustaneš, petuteš nešto za jelo, jebi ga.
Double kill in this A bomb site. Knows how much 910 loves to play that triple box. Just wallbangs him through, never even saw him.
Pa Falcon si, Liquid i tako to. Ovo nije stresno uopšte, ovo je samo fizički malo umarajuće, ali psihički ništa. Ti si šemso je... Falcon se za određene pare. Mogu da vam kažem samo kad bude, brate, bilo ono, kad budemo imali vremena da pričamo to. Medene? Šta su medene? Medene kao neke... Medene... Zek. Koji 500, druže, bez 40.000, brate, mesečno neću pričati.
Out through the apartments, that's as Blitz is closing in. It's him and Zantares side by side. These were the two Turkish...
A ne nervira se svojić na mene, njega nerviraju druge stvari.
Finally linking up at the dawn of this Turkish super team. Zantares and Woxic, can they put a bomb on Mirage? Zantares dead, it's straight away. And Woxic...
Produžeci bandice, a?
I think we deserve it. I think we're going to have a close series here across every map. Mongols Aurora in just the first rages into bonus play.
Malo, mora akcentariti 50 pragova da ima.
A 5v4 not enough to take Mirage away from Mongols, their home map, their comfort ground.
Ne uzima 10-15 možda.
The double orb continues. 910 has been a little bit quiet, but he found his shots in that round at least. Aurora goes straight back to middle. Blitz has been living and dying on his aggression in this CT side. We know he likes to push the boat out. This map, it's been more of a detriment than a help.
Koji sljedeći turnir Falcons igraju, to je pitanje. Falcons. Profile. A, Fission. Za 2 nedelje. Uskoro neko novi, nadam se. Pazi to, znači, Fissure, da mi daju da ko streamam, bilo bi dobro. Pa, mislim, isplati, ne znam šta znači isplati, bit će dobre ekipe. Ko stream? Zajbu je 80 minimum, možda i 90, Nikola na 70, Nones je oko 50, Karigan 30, Rob 50.
They just have such unbelievable staying power, right? We've referenced this 11-1 comeback against this very team on this very map already, but that's, you know, not an exception to the norm for the Mongols.
Pa, brate, ako se odlučiš, brate, da ideš, Vlado, evo ja ću ti kupiti kartu, brate. A ostalo se snaći.
All the way back in Ulaanbaatar. Watch parties in the capitals of either nation for this grand final. Mongols just never go down easy.
I mean, these are two teams trying to put their nations on the map in Counter-Strike. Two squads with very passionate fan bases to get behind their squads.
11-8 lead for Aurora.
Bukvalno.
Now they sit around down.
Pitanje da li bi mi dali to da radim.
Pacey attempt to get out through mid and try and commit to one of these B splits. Senzu again is a problem.
Joj će ih dobiti na produžetke, bilo 12 za skok, 10.
Get dealt with by Woxic. That's a convincing shot and a chance to slow down here in the 2-on-3. Take the pace out a bit.
Uf, Vikadija, ali ubit će ga ovo iz mida, neće oći.
Ready for Mazinho out here on short. He seems so aware.
Jebote, ali oštar, brate.
Lives to tell the tale, and now he's trying to secure safe passage for this bomb on the rotate. It's a double AWP here for Aurora, and a missed shot out of Wakadia leaves Woxic in a tricky clutch. Through the apartments he goes, out Palace, and into the site he'll live. A chance to plant. Chance to attempt this 1v2. Goes wide on the AWP. Doesn't have solid info on both players just yet. There's a flurry of util out, but that could very easily be Mazinho. Sees him in the feed, gets the spot on Blitz.
Voxi klačuje, batica. Ako su karte 46 eura, mislim, ne znam ja, kako hoćete, ja mogu da uzem jedno 10 karata da podelim ljudima, ako ima zainteresovani da idu. Mada vidjet ću i sa ovima iz Fidžera ako mi daju da streamujem i tako to. Može se organizuje nešto, mislim, još ima je vremena za to.
Maybe miscoms, maybe panic, the over-rotate, the knives are pulled as they come around corners. And even in that 2v1, not realizing he came off the plant. They're going to pay the price. Trading rounds now. 5v4 responds. Make that 3 as Mongols eternally stay calm.
Hello, Exed, bro. How you doing? I'm good, thanks for asking.
It's been CT where he's done his best work all tournament long. Woxic leads the charge on T.
Igrači dobiju od prize money neki 80, neki 90%.
So having him is a bit of a relief to Xantares, who has been getting dealt with in the opening stages of these rounds. It's a 3-on-5 here.
Jesmo, pričali smo, kaže tako igra ceo život, tako se navikao i to je to. Pijan u Beogradu više puta. Mislim da smo baš o tome pričali u Buda bar.
And legs spotted, it's an easy close there. No miracle 1v5 for Woxic. The Mongols go 2 for 1 in OT.
Yeah, stressful game right now. Highs and lows for both squads. Eco wins, clutches either way. And yet Mongols sit around in their favor in a map that's been dictated by strong T sides in regulation. This is their pick.
Nisu, oni su u Turskoj.
Double AWP for both these squads, consistently buying up.
Pričat ćemo o parama, Pavel, kad dođe vreme.
Woxic tries to put his in a position to find a 5v4 again. But Mizzino is not biting. Cardia, same story. Gets what he came for, but no kill off that jump spot. Zantares stops Senzu from clambering up connector.
Zantares usporio malo, 27-17, ima 24-9.
Nothing on this B site. Woxic won't wait forever. Smoke comes down to the palace. Mizzino gets closer and he's got to look to middle instead where there's other AWP. Searches for answers.
Right as 9-10 left the angle in mid, Woxic goes and takes it back. Even a late flash over for Zantares, giving him the option to go and clear it from window.
Seems like Aurora realized what's going on though. Without the full mid clear, they will be a bit paranoid of a lurker, but all in
Yeah, etc. They looked better than they usually are, especially because this is like a single elimination bracket. I think it's usually they do good in group stage and they fail in elimination, but now they have been playing really good.
Let's see if he's got another one in him. It's a powerful position for this AWP, and Woxic hits hard on the first. Slinks out of there so that 9-10, tunnel vision for that trade, and that's when Zantares strikes. The interplay between these two is a problem for the Mongols. And a problem that might be too much to overcome.
Nisam vidio to nigde, Andrej. To sam se i ja pitao, brate, da li možeš vežeš 2-3 igrača ili tako nešto, makar 2 igrača. Da dupliraš kvotu skoro.
On a tie game once more.
Woxic's just doing tricks, man, doing backflips.
Pa i Jota je dobar, brate, samo je... Jevi ga, u senci je, brate, Xantares. Gdje si, Vasili? Ne znam da će biti face-ita, možda bude, možda ne bude. Vidjet ćemo. Pa možeš na mape, možeš na runde, možeš na handicap. Možeš ono, standard. Imhat je bolji, sigurno. Oštri mnogo. Gledao sam dosta demoa, brate, njegovih ovih kao što ima na YouTube-u, jebote kako nabadali ih. Dejane, sutra snimamo, preko sutra izlazi.
Mongols that pull this game back from the brink of defeat. Don't want to give Aurora yet another chance to close.
Kako nam je prošao ovaj strani podcast, ja nisam ni pogledao. O, 11k. Znaju se 3 od 4 teme smo napravili.
Super punishing here, and it's actually a double boost up into the window, but Aurora have their best man on the job. Torres in position to try and cover for this boost. Whether or not he'll expect two, that's the question.
A hot take point, mate.
Here for the Mongols. So often it's just been a solo lurk in this portion, and he's actually jumped on over.
Jeste, ceo ostatak turnira se igra.
Very clear wood noise. He's looking aware.
Ne verujem, Enzo. CS trenutno, bila mi je Anubis, sad sam se vratio na Dust.
Still, it's far from comfortable here for the Mongols. They don't know about CT. They've got Senzu dead out in the jungle. Huge pickup on Zantares, sure, but there's still these CT players left to worry about. Zinho entrusted with a bomb plant, chance to try and spam this maybe. Aurora don't take it. Play late into this retake, an exchange of guns here.
Oštri su Turci, pusti priču.
Secondary AWPing on this CT side, so at the end of the world.
Oh, he knows.
4-9-10, and there's the opener. That's what's hoping.
Ne bi volio da se vrati Dust jedan.
Planted wide, bomb planted for Mizzino. He was the guy to plug in the numbers. He'll be the guy to try and cover it, but can't quite get a beat on.
Će li neko pomoći ovom liku, brate?
Techno, will he arrive in time to stop this? Gets them off the defuse. Time's running low. Time is up. Techno, one shot to take them off. It's so close.
O Bože.
But just runs away with it to time. Again, it's a problem for Aurora.
Voksik iz Republike Srpske, čini mi se.
And that sees the Mongols through onto map point.
Yeah, there's not been many post plants in this matchup. It's come down to gunfights. It's come down to brawls in middle. Solid site holds. When you put Mongols in this post plant, no one overplays it. Even though Aurora calculated, read that repeat from the AWP at ramp. Flush Mazzino out with a Molotov.
Evo je publika, brate, salam aleikum.
We've seen them show resilience. Let's see if Aurora can do the same. One round for a second overtime to open up this final. Something both teams knew would be required of them.
Wow.
And that is a ludicrous way to start. Techno so often just harassing on these B-lurks, keeping an option open.
Ostao sam speechless.
In this round. Top performer Techno. His round ends never seeing an opponent.
Ja čekam, Nikola se završi mapa, da odem do WC-a, druže, ono se nikad ne završava. Jebo mat.
Aurora read this anyway. They move a third player over to this side of the map. They think, hey, maybe they'll go here despite Techno.
Možda.
It's the last thing we do. They've read it perfectly. Players in the right place.
Da snimam onaj kao video, kao onaj huge stuff.
Finds his 4v4, and now this bomb in apartments alone has got to be very careful. Rotate, cut down, but still two in the sight.
Woxic doesn't really know where to look here. They lose Magic straight away.
Čuj, čim položi, ja dozvolu imam nutelice.
Oh my.
Does he have another life-saving clutch in him? Woxic with the first. Jota's still a long way away, and so Woxic buying time. Caught out in the open. Blitz will find him. It's left to Jota, who's been quiet all series long.
Evo te samo taj huge stuff, brate, bentolo, pičku.
An unlikely 1v2. The Mongols set up in a post plant.
A sad imam nutelice.
On Mirage, and they walk it over the line. 4 versus 5 to pick it up, dragging us into OT. They have the staying power. Mirage goes their way.
Koja kola voziš? Bembaru, batice. Bembaru. Bembaru, sedmicu. Crnu, zatamljenu. Sad ću da dođem, brate, idem do WC-a.
tug of war on Mirage. Once again, the Mongols able to get this one over the line. I say once again, Jacob, because we very recently saw these two teams going head-to-head. Very similar scoreline as well, but I would argue completely different narratives, because finally, these two teams looking competitive on their T sides.
Very explosive game for both teams, especially as you said on the T side. Both of them were able to get rounds. Both of them were able to apply an awful lot of pressure, both on the A and the B bomb side. So I think you're right in saying that even though the scoreline may seem it was a close game like before, this was a different type of Counter-Strike game. It was very much back and forth. Felt like it had a nerve to it throughout the entirety of the map. Sometimes I feel like when you're watching Counter-Strike games, you lack the nerve from the get-go. You need to get closer to 13 before you feel the pressure. But it felt like both of these lineups were coming in, you know, really realizing the importance of winning the first map and getting off to a good start.
Well, let's talk about it in that context. I'm right with you in terms of the importance of winning the first map. This is a huge missed opportunity for Aurora to steal away the map pick of the Mongols. You think of all the clutches they won, the performances of Woxic. The clutches that he's able to put out. I mean, the fact that you're not able to capitalize with those clutches coming in on top of an incredible map from Zantares, on top of an incredible map from Woxic himself, on top of Wakadia having impact. Like, everything was in place for Aurora to take this map, and that's a missed opportunity that just gone the other direction.
Yeah, I think the problem is Aurora was winning some of those clutches, but they lost a couple of anti-equals.
Yes.
Right, especially the one in the first half where it felt like they were going to be running away with the game on the CT side. We know how strong their CT sides have been in this tournament, and yeah, I think that in the end that's...
Ne znam, Pink. Zamisli da mogu da gledam Premier Ligu, brate, na Kostri. Jevo mater, a? Kako bi to bilo? Bilo odlično, brate, moram priznat. Vrlo... onako. Znate šta je touchdown, brate? Kad sednete na WC šolju da kenjete. To ti je ono kad, brate, govno pipte vodu pre nego što ti izađe iz bulje.
I think the biggest worry for me is as you described just before, Jason, you have every single win condition you can
Lagani touchdown.
going the way of Aurora. You have your star upper playing well, you have Santares playing at an absolutely incredible level, you know, both T side and CT side. You have Jota and Wycadia, you know, Wycadia finding impact as well, and then you still don't win, you know. And as Janko said, like that anti-eco or force buy they lost, that was very expensive. I think the round you're describing as well, where you walk up connector and
vidimo, znali se šta kad mi kreću utakmice.
In that regard, I think that was a big issue.
There was even the wild round in the second half where Aurora is 5v3. They have all 5 players in mid.
Yes.
And Mongols want to fight mid and they win the fight in a 3v5. I mean, there was a sick flash from someone, Techno jumping through the smoke.
16:45, 17:30 i 15.
Cat getting one and Mzinho pushing the connector, Smoke getting 2 more. I think Aurora, that's definitely a head-scratching moment because it all happened in a span of 5 seconds. They were all just dead. You're just looking at each other. It's like, what happened? What just happened?
I know, yeah. I mean, just...
Ajde, Pink, uživaj, ako možeš, bro. U 3 da gledamo Premier Ligu, namestio sam TV, ljudi. Tako da sad mogu da gledam, ovamo TV mi pored, brate, pa vidim uživo Arenu 1. Tako da je to dobra stvar. Mogu bi klimu malo da pečnem, je vidim.
And that's where I'm just sat here and I'm like, ooh, it sucks that you lose this game. Because he was just walking out Palace and getting you a double kill. And it's like, okay.
So many of your ducks in a row, right? And still, it's not enough to be...
Vrlo zanima me zašto Freya sedi, brate, 3 metra od ove trojice. Taj deo mi nije jasno. Ne pratim raketa, još i to kad bi pratio, druže, ne bi imao, brate, ono... I ovako nemam života, ništa, kamoli još i to da pratim.
But the side of the Mongols, you know, it felt like Aurora was going to run away with it. It felt like they were on the path now to finally get some momentum on the CT side. You see a full eco, you know, there's a couple of deagles in the mix, but there's also just Glocks, no armor. Let's be honest, Wycadia,
ne znam, Borislave, nisam obratio pažnju.
No, but stays alive, you know, and does some damage with the nade, gets to reposition, so I'm not really afraid at this point, and then the timing here is just impeccable. Not known to be an upper, missing another shot, and that applies a lot of pressure to this guy, who only gets 1 kill. Had he gotten 2, it probably would have been enough, and then you lose control over the B-bomb side, and he's missing another shot. So, I think we're at the point where Wycadia, you tried to play the double up setup. That was probably the first and last time in this series.
Major doing his best impression of being the best man at a Serbian wedding, just got up in the air, spamming around, not hitting anything, but Yeah, I think also what happens usually double up is fine, and even on CT side here, when he had some good round, just when
Gdje mi je Nutelica će raditi? Nutelica ćemo raditi, brate, giveaway, šta je bilo?
I can't even say that there was no utility, there was nothing, he would just missed a couple
Well,
of
I feel like also you see like maybe some of the inexperience on the op from him, because I feel like when he takes that shot and misses it, he falls all the way back to market. And it's like, I think another, like a typical opper would have had like 3 other angles on the bomb site he could have taken, like first pillar with the angle in towards the window, maybe fall back to the next one where you can set up a little bit of a bait and switch and a little peek off your teammate.
Would it be fun if he hadn't missed again?
Yeah, that too. But man, here's an incredible clutch out of Woxic as well. A missed shot from the opper of MongolZ on 9-10 as he comes in, and Woxic just playing like a beast early on. I felt like the early stages of this map was MongolZ just like barely holding on,
čim se
and
završi
then they
meč,
just kind of
dobro.
built up into the game and started playing and increasing their level.
Was there a particular turning point for your money in terms of, okay, MongolZ regaining control over this map and ultimately pushing it to OT and then sealing it out?
I think the round Yanko spoke about when they're 3v5 in middle and they get to retake middle and kill everyone from Aurora, and that's kind of what kickstarted their way back into this half. I think in overtime they also looked like the better team. I feel like they had, you know, as we said, we had all the win conditions going the way of Aurora. You have Santaros playing well, you have Woxic playing out of his mind with AWP, winning a couple of clutches. That's not going to continue to be the case throughout the entirety of the series or throughout the entirety of the map. So as soon as that slowed down just a little bit, the Mongols were able to take over and win the map.
I think for me the turning point, there was a 3-round stretch. I think it was like 17, 18, 19 where there
A
was
šta je
like 1v2
collab,
from
brate,
MongolZ,
kao
and then
neki
18
video
was the
sad,
round
šta?
that Aurora played really slow and stalled out, and then round 19 was like an eco round right after that, and they had a pretty solid lead at that point, and just the clutch unfortunately went the way of the Mongols, which is fair play. Aurora won their fair share, but the stall out round was really painful, taking their economy away and having no impact on the economy of the Mongols.
Ne, znam da je collaboration saradnja, nego saradnja šta? Zašto?
Well, throughout the entirety of this map, but particularly in some of those late round moments, it might seem like a bit of a strange comparison to be putting him head to head with Zantares, but both of these individual players
Šta je,
really
Mico?
some stellar output, but for
Dosadno si, samo se penješ po stolu.
so consistent this tournament. I
Especially
love
for
it.
2 players competing for the MVP as well, that were like in the contention of saying like one of these 2 guys could win the MVP, and both of them going toe to toe, top fragging for their teams. It's a really good show and a really good sign that the players that have been performing well through these tournament for these 2 teams showed up in this first
Hoćemo
round of grand finals as well.
kapitena da leti sa te, sećate toga, kad su bili deca idioti, pa se to odralo.
The MVP of the tournament. He's by far the best playing player we have so far here at EWC.
Pa znate li ljudi da sam, od kad sam napunio bazen pred 2 mjeseca nisam ušao ni jednom na skup.
Get more help from the likes of Jota and Major in this particular game, but let's be completely honest, Santaros, he's back to his absolute best right now, and that's what makes Aurora competitive.
Yeah, and again, it's that tandem as well with Woxic, because he also had that great game. And I mean, that's the thing about it too, is like you have the Antares giving you the openings like that. You have an Opper and Woxic who's going to be able to slide into the gaps and find angles, be supportive, peek at will. I don't...
A imam, brate,
plays like that in the remaining maps in this
imam, brate, i ono svetla kao noćna, ne znam ni ja šta, brate.
Multiple maps in the series.
Veliki je bazen 9x4, ja mislim da je.
How much more, meaning how the players are going to be a little bit warmed up and everything, but
Metar
how much more can
60,
you expect
ja
from
mislim,
the individuals
tu
on
bi
the side of
jebem
Aurora,
Empire.
right? Like, they already gave one, like, this game was close thanks to them sort of doing things well and fragging out, while on the side of MongolZ, when you lose those clutches, it's usually your guys have failed a little bit and maybe they're a little bit cold. So I expect MongolZ to play better individually on the second map. Right, for Aurora, you feel like they have to maintain and
Ali mrzi me, brate, samo me mrzi da, brate, idem u bazen da se kupam. Jedva nađem ono života dnevno da odem da se okupam pod uši. Što pravi struju u bazenu, brate. Misliš kao ono, da možda plivaš protiv struje. Pa održavam, imam ovog momka što dolazi svakog četvrtka ili srede ili četvrtka i stavlja onaj PH, Flor i usisava i šta ti ja znam.
But also the Mongolian fans who are watching from Ulaanbaatar.
That's so sick. That is so sick.
This is crazy. Like, once again, we saw it at the major. We've seen it at multiple events.
Full boy, brate, brada.
I saw a stat that it was like just over 5% of all of Mongolia is.
That's the cool thing, and they do it every single time. At the major, it was at 4 a.m. local time.
Yeah.
They showed up like this. That's insane.
That'd be a cool first date. You know, make a picnic. Like,
Very romantic.
yeah.
I don't know, Jason. Depending
bottle
on
of wine
how
and
invested
sandwich.
you are into the game, like I've seen you watch Team Liquid play. That wouldn't be a great date.
Well, she'd see me at my worst, so I
Da
know,
napunim
we're
bazen
sticking
naftu.
around.
Maybe with someone who works as a police
Da mi
officer.
6
Yeah, probably.
By the
Seen
way,
worse.
should we
kubika.
move on to talk
Ne,
about
koliko imam već?
the
50 i...
take of Aurora
I like
into this
hypothetical.
series?
54
Yeah, I mean, how
hiljade
has it been
litara
shaping
vode
up
mi je
for
trebalo za
Mongols? Are you
bazen.
talking about the individuals you expect them to be showing up on Dust 2? Who are we looking at, Jacob?
I feel like we have seen a bit of weakness coming out for the Mongols on Dust 2, and I mainly based that on what I saw during the bounty as well, and that was online, to be fair, so maybe we don't take
Yeah,
that
that's
into
right.
account. Yes, I mean, they're not unbeatable on Dust 2.
Well,
Not a map that they play, you know, at the highest of the highest level, but they have this explosiveness to them, and that's what I love about the Mongols. Their B splits, very fast to execute.
Ne, brat,
Not
sa
afraid of
česme,
going into the B bomb site from the get-go if they have a feeling that
sa česme, brate, koje imam s polja, pošto imam s polja roštilj i kao letnja kuhinja sa slavinom i imam, brate, to i imam tuš, onaj kao solarni neki kurac i odatle ima slavina tu i sa te dve strane, brate, ga punim i on se napuni za par dana. Pa eto, 57 i...
I don't think that MongolZ is going to be able to win that game. Like, Xantares and Woxic can carry this.
Nema, brate, ovdje.
Weakness for Mongols in their map.
Tražili mi 400 evra za 6 kubika, brate, 6 kubika vode 400 evra da mi dovezu iz, ne znam, Novog Sada, brate. I zamisli 400 evra puta, brate, ne znam, 3.500 evra mi napune bazen.
With the removal of Anubis, they lose their signature pick, and Overpass hasn't replaced it just yet. We see them pick Dust 2, we see them pick Inferno.
Ovako pustim iz česme, brate, i to je to.
Sort of signature map, and they definitely don't have the same comfort level on Dust 2 like they have, like they used to have on Anubis. So here they'll sort of have to prove it, right, that this is going to be one of the maps for them.
Prove it and probably having to lean on their star players.
Mm.
You know, you look for those individual efforts out of Xantares and out of Woxic.
Well, it's fun to see. Sorry, Jacob.
Imam bunar, što je najgore, ima ovdje, vrte, voda ispod zemlje, brate, mnogo dobra žila, brate, razumiješ, sad treba iskopati bunar i ne znam ja, šta već, mislim, to je sve, ono, future problems. Mico, opet si došli.
Want to see the stars in Woxic and Xantares delivering here. Well, it started strong for them back on Mirage. Chance for Woxic to dominate on the AWP.
Pa to ti kaže, ima, brate, dole za tehničku vodu, razumeš, izbušiš one ti, ne znam, 50 evra je metar bušenja bunara. Ja mislim. Ima ljudi koji to rade, od Mico.
Playing fearlessly, winning them so many important rounds, clutches, low econ rounds.
Jebem ih, uglavnom napunio sam ga na česmu, brate, i eto, sad je dobar. Deca se kupaju, luduju, brate, do ovog drugara mogu dolaze deca, pa uživaju po ceo dan, brate, tako, luduju. Pa eto, snaga, to je to, otprilike.
First kill picked up by Blitz. Gonna be keeping a watchful eye on Jota, who never really got going back on that first map. His absence certainly felt by Aurora.
I think he saw him there with a jump.
Xantares teed up with a flashbang, put in a position to succeed. 2 kills from him in the openings. And he's gonna round it
A
out.
to i ja kažem, patuljak, misliš, šta je meni bazen, nešto mi znači, ne znači mi ništa. Nego dolaze deca jebi ga, pa kad dođu da imaju šta da rade, pogotovo leti, brate, to je njima ono avantura.
Awkward timing for Techno really in tunnels, and that's what opens up the dam. It breaks on the B bomb site. Xantares definitely got that info with jump spot. The whole team hound down that back plat player after he comes through the smoke with the Julies, putting it to use and putting a pistol down the way of Aurora. But as we've already seen in this series and many times for the Mongols, is that they never go down without a fight. So Aurora have to stay fully focused.
Ne znam, brate, da li je pametno imati 2 skauta na Dustu, brate. Ide je jedan dovoljan, pogotovo u ovoj meč.
Mongols, at least they've taken
Ma ima i onih robota što čiste, svašta nešto ima.
Aurora, not once.
Kupim robota, brate, da ga ono... Jaš.
An S tier, that's a different beast. Nice push for Xantares, just playing DM. Before the smoke blooms, Aurora make it into the bomb site. Minimal casualties. Go on.
A, ne radi to više. 9-10, to više ne radi batice.
Alright, that's pretty cool.
Kamile sa zlatnim zubima, brate.
From the Mongols. I mean, it was these rounds that Aurora struggled with back on map 1. It was these rounds that made a world of difference in that game. They'd even found the conversion on one of the two that they lost. It would have been a very different picture painted here in this final. And so good to see them start off Dust 2, not falling
Da
down.
učestvujete u giveawayu, odradite korake na www.kassad.online.
Maybe not, just in time. Gets back into the pits. Seeing those bomb radiuses have been increased. Even on Dust 2. Gotta be very careful.
To, kopajte kao dole dok ne letite na naftu.
Even on the long corner, high damage. Look at this one.
Okej.
As you do. Aurora coming in calm. We got P250 and Deagles for the Mongols. Won 2 huge eco rounds last map, but I will not be here and now. Not with a B rush like this. No one in the box.
Kad bi došla bi Amerika da mi, brate, uvede demokratiju u dvorište. Da me oslobodi, brate.
Try and create that. His double opening brushes aside the pistols, secures this round for Aurora. Senzu has missed the timing here to find a gun. One thing you're going to note about these Aurora T-sides is they are always willing to hunt.
Još malo, bre, pa kreće evropsko prvenstvo u basketu, a? Hoće da bude batice, a? Da mi nađu naftu u dvorišću. Jeleni trče po dvorišću. Mico, šta je? Pusti mi podlogu, Mico.
Like we saw back on Mirage, both teams fielded it. Carter and Woxic for the side of Aurora. 9-10.
A deda izgubimo od Italijana, silot. Cijela nacija se sprema za ovo evropsko prvenstvo, druže, ko da je 95. godina. Nekako smo, brate, uvijek uzimali te zlatne medalje kad je bila kriza u državi, brate.
Easily held, good grenades, and not a spot of damage done from the T's. Aurora take the space out middle. Xantares knows needs a couple of crisp kills towards this B bomb site to change the course of the round. Warp holds him down here in spawn. He's got no smoke for this cross either.
Just as demonstrated by kind of how he's moving around the map. Xantares trying to play with real confidence here, charges it down mid. At the mercy of a long-range fight versus that 9-10 AWP.
Ali uvijek kad je kriza, brate, mi zlato. 93. 95. 2002. Zvezda osvojila ono 90. 91. Đoković, brate, izosvajao sve i svašta.
They're safe. The rifle moves through, knowing they're low. Blitzkin will just win this round with a couple of shots. Window peek might be punished. Molotov down. 9-10 hits that shot, and Woxic does not. So Mongols stop the spill in this B site. 2 AWPs even saved. Mongols making it clear again, back-to-back maps, and on Dust 2, no better place for it. That's a scary round.
Prvi u poenima, asistencijama i skokovima. Ujebi ga, brat. Da nije to malo previše, a? Mislim, pored Dončića i koji mora da igra sam, brat.
but this is a far better map for him at times.
We have this double up now to play with, but when we saw Senzu donning it back in Bounty, there was some
Jest?
rough moments, I would
A
say. I
nest,
don't think it was
nest.
much a highlight of Dust 2.
40. Uf, bravo.
Nice.
But a better start here, a clash with Woxic in the head-to-head. Senzu delivers a 5v4 and knocks out a key
A to,
player
nešto.
from the Aurora ranks. That's
Kao da se ga boli kup. Mislim, nego igra kao da se ne trudi. Lika u stvari, lika ono... jaš.
Put the AWP on the cross. Can assist Mazzino at long as well.
Ja sam nekako, brate, ono, u onom denialu što se tiče teh, ono, pokušavam da zaboravim to što se desilo. Pravim se da se nije desilo.
Knowing the double AWP is in play makes every angle treacherous. 3 flashes to make this happen. 1 smoke to buy a bit of room. As the map goes quiet, Blitz pulls back, realizing what's going on.
Finac.
Molotov is well timed.
Arcane.
Smoke goes in spawn though, so in terms of the cross, 910's going to have open shots here with the AWP. Blitz thinks it's a fake out. That's exactly what Aurora wants, but they've still got to get past this AWP.
910 position to succeed. Blitz even coming through to lend a helping hand.
O, su ih poslagali, druže, kao metar drva.
It's only Madger left. And anytime he opens himself up to long, he opens himself up to that 910 AWP.
Što pravimo se da se ništa tu nije desilo. Super smo igrali.
Sharp shots from Blitz right now, definitely having his impact, even coming through that smoke. He got pulled out of position to the wrong place, and everyone does their job. Mizzino realizes long is empty, does a high flash from
Ali Mongoli koji su osvojili 2 turnira na jedan nisu bili plaćeni. To je jala.
on the first player dropping into Blitz that could cause a problem. It's a round where
Povredio se Nemcima onaj, kako se zove onaj lik, što je otišao u Real sad.
kill makes all the difference. If Aurora get it, they can
Nema šanse, FJ. 0% šanse sad.
instead leaves them with nothing. Mac 10 and Glocks.
Pa evo i Partizan ima podršku u SNS. Partizan iz blata. Mi smo iz blata. Nismo imali ništa. Kako kaže, nikad nisam slavio rođendan, ja sam iz bloka.
With a very audacious play, supplemented by the Senzu AWP, the mid spill is denied. So Aurora changed the plan.
Ne verujem, nemaju oni, brate, te ličnosti za to, brate. Rush B. Vidio sam ja Under 16 kako su igrali, ali samo sam ispratio malo, nisam ono... Si iz bloka, nisi slavio rođendan. Kako 910 sa kola igra, ko onaj kassad. Neka Falcon ekipa top 10, neka teška priča.
Even Woxic's AWP just getting delayed and denied in this T side. Had it once and just got caught on the mid kill.
Kako se zove, brate, koja je štoperska linija, brate, Nottingham Foresta ili dalje Murillo, brate, i ovaj, kako se zove ovaj naš, Milenković. Ako su njih dvojica, da će da go car.
Double AWP right now, proving to pay off here for the Mongols. Woxic Scout, nothing to sleep on. But Mongols are a team that will happily use utility to make that mid-cross safe. Blitz even taking the AWP, perhaps for spawn here on the... Oh my god!
Ti si pošao, Senzu. Ti si krenuo, Viki. Ti si krenuo.
Yeah, Senzu tries his hand at the mid-fight and comes to regret it. The Woxic
I
Scout
potroši se
hitting hard.
17 molija u prvih 10 sekundi.
Considering he's the guy coming into this round looking worse for wear in terms of the weaponry, this is already a great result. Woxic gets his revenge after Senzu removed his AWP from play in the one prior. And Now in a 5v4, mid control taken. Getting past this blitz AWP. WOXIC looks like he wants to do more anti-AWP scouting.
Provalio sam, brate, na ovom midu, ne treba se mnogo zadržavati, treba odigrati jednu ili dve runde na midu da ih preplašiš i posle toga treba da šaraš po kratkom, dugom B. Evo, odlično si ga otpucao i kad je idi u pičku, brate.
Instead it goes the way of Techno. 4-on-4 squeaked out by the Mongols, and Techno slinks back into the B defense. Doesn't want to commit and overstay his welcome in the tunnels.
Don't want to be forced into the double orb though. Aurora actually going to give it another go to go back. Blitz is swapped off, staying on the rifle.
Grilić, brate, kakva glava to je.
Deal with a split and essential 1v4. His team fully committed to their positions. 20 seconds. Aurora have made the right move.
Moving in now. Techno really has to keep his wits about him. First contact.
Petnoga 9-10. Beži od Santareca u pičku, mater, što dalje? Da, to je izmišljeno u Republici Srpskoj. Prvo su nam uzeli košarku.
Realization just sets in so quick for the Mongols. They know those smokes are fake and they just immediately run to spawn. The fact that they're able to offer 2 kills on the assist from CT spawn is incredible.
Hvala ga je pecno Voxi, brate.
Techno only needs 1 kill inside of that B bomb site to stop the round from coming through. Look how quick Mongols are right behind.
Prvo su nam uzeli Egipat.
And again, we got another broken buy for Aurora. The Mongols have been winning out these ecos. Aurora don't have anything
First map,
to their name.
Overtime.
Antara's hero AK, but the orbs have just proven to
Mongols, but Aurora should have won it. Aurora had like 12-10, good money, and they fucked it over.
Across the tournament, you've got to see matches calling at its best, but here feels like he's struggling to get a super solid read on the Mongols, and so it's leading to some of these awkward slowdowns. These last-second execs, always having to do more with less as well, right? Their economy got thrown off a couple of rounds ago, and it still is yet to re-establish itself.
Well, in that last round, it's awkward because the read was perfect. The idea was, you know, there. He knew Mongols' positions, and there was only one on the B bomb site, but they used both their smokes for the catch.
Tutan čukur.
Nothing for CT spawn, and so when
Ako sruše, vi ćemo da pravimo novi do 3 sat. Clintone, nemaš šansu.
Didn't get the molly out.
Kako ga igra, brate, ovaj svoje pozicije ko ja jeba. Jer smo tako u mogućnosti. Yeah. So not bad. I mean, Mongols deserve to win this event, not gonna lie. Because they have been playing good on the major, in Cologne. Did they play good on Cologne? Can't remember. But, Blast, and now this. And this is also great. You think Serbian teams would have this if like a Serbian team would play good?
Quite the opposite. Ooh, another chance for WOXIC, but rooting for Senzu makes it difficult to hit. WOXIC just trying to be the difference maker on this team side. Trying to be the guy, crack open a round, but
yeah, probably.
Here for Aurora.
Ready, willing, and disabled.
5 straight rounds for the Mongols. Aurora getting desperate, looking for an execute into B. So make up your mind on these positions, though. It's getting a little scary. Antares assisting in middle. Good grenade in upper, but the AWP is still in the right side. Oh my god.
Ovaj mi prišao. Nema bežanja, nema beži, Senzu.
This one kind of a bit of a swing and a miss for the Mongols. Senzu caught fiddling with Util, ends up selling Techno in defense of B.
Yeah, if he just went wide, he would have had that kill. This round would have been on for the Mongols. Instead,
a lot of teams would look to save here.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're even hanging around.
Still giving it a bit of a look in. If you win this round, that's a huge middle finger to Aurora.
Ooh, okay.
Util in to try and force the fight out. WOXIC provides cover. And that should be the kill that tips the scales here.
Oh my god.
Zinho with a clean
A su ih
one,
ovi,
but
brate,
it's
ih
not
stegli
enough
da ne
to
mogu da
keep
begaju,
this
brate.
retake. Man down, trying to move it.
No, I
So many
slept.
teams would not have even
I
shown
slept all the way.
a bit of interest there. They still make it a very expensive round indeed.
Da, Blitz je neki šahista ludi, brate. Čini mi se da je on iz Republike Srpske, ako se ne varam.
He's just trying to die to stop that ult from getting gifted, or he didn't realize that the bomb radius would take him down there in that update. Unannounced secret patch. Those who know. But I mean, either way, Blitz got out with an AWP, and yeah, Mongols, to a degree, it's a success, right? Just getting all that damage is nice, but it only matters if they capitalize. Aurora get back on the board after a 5-round hiatus. Comes from a bit of an awkward change of setup inside of the B site from Senzu and Techno. Mongols can forget about it.
Apex is always on the verge of crying or dying or something.
To do so. Double orb. The haymaker. Senzu even in lower, and you weren't ready for that. Wakadi has been having trouble on this B lurk. Techno getting aggressive in upper, and now Senzu pushing lower.
I dalje niko nije otkrio gde se sahranjuju Kinezi, brate.
Woxic scout again. Called upon. Against the orb, look at his jiggles though, just staying so mobile, knowing he can peek into these perfect angles and find headshots like that.
Apex je speechless.
Built for it.
Šta se kao svi se kremiraju. Koliko ima Kineza, brate, ono... I gde, ja nisam vidio ni jedan grob, brate, Kineza. Da piše ono Jung Ming Shing, tako.
Cross on the smoke, nade it opens, and Tares wounded, and that nade will finish the job. So even though Aurora get that opener, they lose players on the cross, lose a bit of ground. Jota trying to take it back. There's knives pulled in spawn, and so Techno...
Pa znam, brate, ali nemoguće da ima toliko Kineza i da se svi kremiraju do jednog, brate. Sigurno mora neko ko ide u zemlju. Mora.
The Senzu Orb repositions out onto the short side, and it might end up with Woxic responsible for a hell of a lot here on this.
Si matematički, bra, statistički mora da ima neko, bra. To košta više nego, brate, da ono, ko zna šta da radi.
But he's got to do so much more. Senzu swings him head on. And so the Mongols back with a vengeance, 3 from Blitz, 2 for Senzu on that retake. And Woxic's efforts all in vain.
And that's why you leave HEs in spawn, just a cache of grenades there for the Mongols. They throw 4 over the top of the site. They kill Xantares, they kill Maja. They do more damage to Jota. It's so oppressive. Constant nade after nade, an absolute barrage. Aurora can never get.
Čak nisam siguran da sam poznavao nekog Kineza što je umro, brate. Da li, ono... Niti sam vidio neko kinesko dete, brate, u školi, ja to već. Ste vidjeli neko kinesko dete kao u školi? Ne znam kako se zove ovaj trener MongolZ, brate. Zanimljiv li?
Woxic still getting output, but just unable to have his weapon of choice. Xantara's also caught a little bit. AWP's head on, round after round. Right now things are going great for the Mongols.
Nemojte nasedati na te fore, brate.
Gotta admire how keen Senzu is going back for this fight. You don't even feel like it's entirely necessary on the CT.
Čekaj, vraćaju ih kad... Vraćaju ih, brate, kad ovi napune ono godina da idu u školu, ih vrate u kinu, kao, brate, ne može više, ajde, dosta. A i kako dovedeš Kineza na crno, brate, u Srbiju, šta? Pešači iz Kine dovde. Na biciklu, gde si teški? A, misliš na... Aha, da, okej.
Takes this cat control. Have the smokes required for another one of these mid to Bs. Mizinho's put up on the boost early. And it feels like the Mongols are very ready for this.
Imaš drugara inspektora, brate.
I know Aurora have been desperate to get one of these mid splits going. And with
Imaš inspektora za strance.
support from Senzu, it goes nowhere quickly.
Nice.
The Mongols with a very
Omatorili su bola. Šta ovi što umru iznenada, brate? Udari ga šlog, brate. I šta onda?
You're not getting away with mid to Bs. If you're not even getting in control of middle in those mid to Bs, you've got no hope left in this half. The cat splits have been shut down. We haven't seen any
Udari ga šlag.
long takes really in this T side. And Ulaanbaatar is getting more packed by the minute as Mongols pick up more rounds. Jump across and 9-10
Stepping
hits
by
that
attack
shot.
bio dobar.
Shows Senzu how it's done. And that's Woxic Scout again, still hitting.
Sahranjen. Daj idem da posetim, brate, da se uverim.
Mongols looking for a dominant CT side here on Dust 2. On Aurora's map pick, no less.
Yeah, we've kinda. Sad te dojela te kineskinja, brate. Ti bre...
To the dome straight away, that softened him up, and 9-10 has this supporting util. Flashes go in, leaving Blitz blind. 9-10, they're in the sight, they're all around him. Maja with the execution from this long wrap, and
Ovo glave pršte,
Aurora
brate.
looking to pull up and do good on a 5-round half at least, feeling like they've recovered something here on their T side. Senzu, no harm in trying, an unlikely 1v4. So much time away from him, no winning this. Not with Aurora set up in this post plant. Trying to break through this A site all half long. They finally do it in round 12 and they get it done cleanly. Still, it's 2 rifle rounds there in that first half for Aurora. Will this be enough runway on their map pick?
Well, at least they taste victory once more by the end of the half, and there's no breaks on this train. We go right back into the second side for the rest of this grand final.
Daske za kino.
So no time
Za
to
kino
get
nema,
forward,
brate, daski
straight
dovoljno.
into a pistol here with Mongols on the T side, having to lead their way back in this game. Aggressive pistol for Aurora, straight down lower goes Jota. Quick reset. Quick tech.
Ajde ima šta znaju Mongoli, brate, na te strani. Da li će biti 1-1 ili će biti 3-0.
We're live again. Aurora's map pick down in the hole, but not out.
So they run that back. Try to play this double lowest setup. You even have Zantara.
Tehno se naoštrio Batica da pobedio.
Cardia, kind of strong.
Dobro je ovo isto odlično.
Huge swing and a miss.
Back of the head.
That could have been a 5v4. Might have tempted Techno to chase down into this double setup in lower. Instead, it's Senzu. Gonna pluck Wakadia out of the round. And I mean, his absence has been very notable here on Dust 2. He's been fantastic all long. There's been moments where him and Zantares are trying between the
Traduj ga, šta si se ustro ima 20 helta, lik, znaš da ima 20 helta. Ej,
not the start Wakadia was hoping for. Jota has to bail. A path opens into this B site. Will Woxic be able to change that? Dinked immediately. And the defense split low on.
Naravno da nije, brat, pašteta je odlična. Svež leba, pašteta, jao.
Damage done on these two players. How do you get out of this one? Madge is probably going to have to carry them through. They make a gamble together. Right now, well founded with Messina.
Mora leba da bude svež, inače džabet sve.
It's just the health is a huge problem, right? One bullet from the Glocks and your round is over. Maja Might have to do a lot of the heavy lifting here. Catches one, but there's the swarm, the horde of Mongols overwhelming Aurora.
Pavlakic.
Woxic pulling up late, one shot from
Popišaše ih
certain
ovi, brate. Ja ne mogu, brate, jogurt, nemam ono toleranciju na laktozu, brate, ali znam na šta misliš, brate.
Pistol round secured, and that was where the bulk of rounds came from for Aurora on this second map.
Yeah, they're fully split right now, 2-2 across the series. All of them converted. No eco wins, no force by success for either squad.
Odmah, batici, odmah u Kenjaru.
Aurora keep up on these.
Maže, maže.
They have not been that guy on the low economy rounds. Will that change? Doesn't look likely. Clean entries out long. A position underused by Aurora on their T-half.
Pa mislim da treba da prestaneš da se družiš s njim, brate.
This is the easiest means to an end. Punish on the B push. Still back in spawn for crying out loud. Aurora getting given nothing on this force buy. Whoa.
Ja sam imao drugara koji je, brate, jeo keks i kečap. A Falconsi su trulači. Jeo li keks i kečap, brate, i kad popije pivo, pocrveni mu jedna strana, brate, lica, a druga ostaje normalno. Nisam se čuo s tim likom 10 godina.
The front runner for it, no doubt.
A njegov drugar, to je isto iz Požarevca, znači, ovo je bio moj drugar, a taj lik je bio njegov drugar, čovjek je jebo leba, brate. Eto. No, mate, never, probably. Most likely never. Znači, lik je jebo leba. Da, da. Da, da.
Nice eeks for Wakadia, maybe more through the smoke.
Oh!
4 kills in just a second. Techno gone, and Wakadia on for maybe an ace. Boxed in the corner, nades get pulled. Wakadia can't evade capture, and Mizzino might shut it all down.
It can't be in vain, that can't be in vain. Wakadia, he's had trouble hitting shots on stationary targets, but...
Ne znam da li u ludici, znam da je neki jebo leba, brate. To je radio.
On a low econ round, this would be hope for Aurora, and it's left to Zantares.
Glava.
Nails his shot, and Wakadia's 4K is not in vain. Aurora still in this as from nowhere.
Jebe ti budalo kad se setim,
Absolutely nowhere. Through smokes, through fire, past the spray of every player of MongolZ, and Wakadia nails 4 headshots.
Sami si koliko treba budeš, brate, bolesnik.
Magic just can't believe it. He knows that this could mean everything. Suddenly, there's something to hold on to here, something to grasp on this CT side. There's one more test, one more challenge. This fast B play, it's a pace change for the Mongols. They try and go quickly.
Ali ih je preseko Vikadija, brate, a?
But Wakadia just refuses to go down. Another 4K.
Mislim da je, brate, ono, Beli, ovaj Sava. Mećo ga u Savu, brate. Kakav debil, majko ti.
And that's brought him back into the game. That's brought Aurora back into the game. Techno living on borrowed time. Low on health and pinned in.
A inače, taj moj drugar što je jeo keks i kečap je udario traktorom, brate, u ovu, kako se zove, šljivu. Na njivi. Pazi, njiva prazna, ima jedna šljiva, brate, i on je zvizno traktorom u šljivu. Majku ti jebem, kakav ludak.
Another tap on the bomb, hoping it baits the peak, but they didn't fall for it the first time, and this time they might look to just play through together. Wakadia, a revelation.
Znaš i njivu, ono, voziš traktor, jebi ga, i njiva, ono, velika, imaš jedno drvo, brate, i on udari u to drvo. Marko se zvao, brate. Nije on bio loš lik. On je bio dobar momak. Dobar momak. Ovako je zanimljiv bio, samo što je bio malo lud. I ono, Čale mu se zvao Mile. Mile. Ma ceo leba, razumiješ. Čale mu se zvao Mile. Evo mu bila isto car neki. Kad god ja dođem tamo da jedeš, da piješ, da ovo i ona umrla žena od nekog raka. Od njega nisam kupovao leba, to je sigurno. Najljepše ime, Mile. Ko je Mile? Ja.
Glock's coming out first, should pin the herd. Magic gets his one. As Yino jumps, so Blitz can hit that shot, but more damage done by Madras.
Mile mu bio Čale, brate, ne mogu setiti kako se zvala Keva, možda Snežana.
This should be too far for Blitz, you'd like to think. And so the eco will get put to rest by Aurora. A sigh of relief, if nothing else.
Ali sad imali su, oni su baš bili onako domaćini, jebi ga, pravi, razumeš. Kuća velika na 2 sprata, garaža, štala. Razumeš, ono, sve živo, brate. Njegov Čale valjda radi u pošti negde. I posle se on zaposlio u pošti, brate. A imao je tog drugara što je jebo leba, brate.
MongolZ with their timeout. Suddenly Aurora have a lot more fight in them. This resurgence
Ko sve je okej, samo lik voli da ga meću u Savu, brate.
And a chance to just keep the MongolZ on the back foot here and now. Aurora with the chance to weigh in. Hoping that he has the solution. Also, Aurora looking good to move into the lead. That's after a very slow start. For long control is Mazinho. Smoke comes in and it's a good decision. He doesn't commit to that.
Šta, američka?
Aurora anticipating a hit on this side of the map. When they don't get it, they'll fan out on this defense. Santares retaking mid control. The catwalk's already been lost. Taken by the MongolZ as the first step in this round.
Onaj, kako se zove, Stifler.
Keeping Aurora guessing. To be smokes in, almost draws Santares out. Bomb is up cat right now. Uncertain are Aurora on that end destination, but MongolZ go all the way. Magic down in the pit. Could be exploitable.
Ona jebe Kevu.
Woxic supports with the orb. Gonna be a dry fight. Should be an easy 5v4 for Woxic.
Ne znam.
Finally with his weapon of choice.
Kakva žena podnosi to što sam cijel dan ispred kompa. Žena koja živi u luksuzu.
Oh my god.
Both of them look away. Now Woxic's got a lot of responsibility. It's nearly the lineup, but nearly doesn't cut it. 2 kills found from the AWP long side. Bomb's gonna make it across, and Blitz won't survive the journey. Smokes leave gaps. Not what they had in mind. Senzu with a clean tap, but here's the backstab that was meant to seal the deal. Time runs out. And so Aurora bring it back, 9-all. Nearly looked like that missed timing was going to cost them dearly.
Turci, brate, se vraćaju na po njima.
The first shot that Woxic took when he got a kill, they would have had the trade for free. There was no support, but they waited another second on a jiggle for the flash to hit him. At that point, he was already ready, cocked back for one more shot. Woxic gets more than he bargained for.
Pa ovi, brate, ovi Osmanlije, brate, novi.
I felt like a slight missed opportunity for the MongolZ.
Lude Osmanlije, povratnici. Mico, gde si?
absolutely made the difference. No time to get that bomb and get it down. Mongols now just rely on this saved AK. Aurora taking a trick out of their book. Got the nades back in spawn. Good for a mid to B break and to assault.
Da, niko mene ne pita kako ja podnosim.
Long smokes, there's just so many
Kako je
options.
meni?
So Aurora keep them close by as Mongols climb up catwalk ready to go again.
Nemam da jedem.
Just keep this one simple, side by side, all the way into the site.
Toxic watching it from afar on this AWP, going to be that first point of contact.
Kako novčanik fokus.
You want him to start strong here.
Žena kuva, brate, na skali od 1 do 10. 9, ja bih rekao, brate. Samo nije često, brate. Isto tako 1 u 10 dana skuva nešto. Nego se nešto naljutila na mene zadnjih 2 dana, nemam pojma što. Hoće ga znati. Sa ženama, brate, nikada. Najbolje da ne pitaš ništa. Oj, glavičaju, brate. Nema, brate, moram sam sebi da pravim da jedem stalno. Hrani decu, brate, a ovoga svinju ne hrani.
Versus a handful of ecos, it could have been an entirely different story, but that's the reality we're in. It is shocking how often the Mongols have found success on these low econ rounds.
Hero AK, but it's
Pa, brate, kod mene sve je transparentno, nema laži, nema prevare.
just draw out that clock, put as much distance as they can between them and Aurora. One round up ahead, but
ništa nema da se jede, razumeš?
Aurora have a difficult decision.
Nudle.
They are all in.
Neke tu, brate, zezancije.
This is the game it feels like for Aurora. They have to have staying power here. Working within limitations as well, it forces you to get creative.
Well, that's the worst part. They can lose the game on this round, but they certainly can't win the game on this round. Stakes hit harder for some.
Ja sam spreman da dam život za istinu, brate. Kako to mislite, ručak ne biti?
Mongols with no one even here. They puff their chest up, throw their nades, and then they wait.
Ima da je, brate, davi u bazenu.
Getting curious about the tunnels. One shot from Senzu serves as a bit of a warning to go no further. Toxic, who was posted on shore all round, is just kind of fallen back now as the time starts to creep down. Actually reaggressing in 2
Pa ja sam ga odigrao za nešto malo.
And it's in this hesitation, the back and forth. Toxic caught on an awkward timing. That hesitation costs him dearly. Neither in nor out. 3 players still here for Aurora. The stack in the right place. They've got to repel this here and now. Zantares overran. Wakadia dead on the smoke push. And Aurora all in. This round, they're ride or die. It's left to a retake. Badger up through the spawn, looking for that first incision, but 9-10's AWP barrels down from the long side. Quick work made. 11 rounds posted and the money broken. Aurora might be out of luck and out of time on Dust 2.
Such late rotates for Mongols. Aurora just can't get a read on them, right? Think about that Falcon game. How many stacks how many rounds he read perfectly.
Odatle dolazi gorivo, brate, za Bembar.
In this matchup, and I can't blame him, right? Mongols
Ček, stani što. Pitaju ljudi što nemam šta da jedem. Pa kažem, ti si žena, brate, kući. Kaže, ne voli da mi kuva i neće da ništa meni kuva.
And MongolZ say thank you very much.
2010, ja mislim. Kaže, Smederevac, američki fudbal. Kako se zove beše klub?
910's AWP hits again, finds that opening kill. Flank. Oh, yeah, don't knife him. Just deny it.
Sedmicu, The Wise Man, sedmaju.
Nice and clean, side by side, strutting into the site.
F01, tako je. Posle game, čarolija. Nisam igrao protiv BDM-a.
And that's going to leave them in such a strong position in this grand final. A map away.
Bembera radi dobro, brate, radi ko zmaj.
And to set up to do it dominantly as well, right? This series had all the makings of a long drawn-out game, and I still think it does. But right now, MongolZ are certainly thinking about that 3-0. 910, crazy move through the smoke. He almost gets out.
Šta radi ovaj 910? Druži, izađi, odatle si retardira.
Just the call to make a move like that, finding a 5v4, even Mazzino steals the AWP away. So Woxic can't pick it up. Fires the AWP, throws it out. Keeps Aurora guessing. 4v4 and the map is open for the taking.
Ne znam šta je to, brate, ali zvuči dobro.
Different game to Mirage. Can't hit a thing. Bit of aggression goes a long way. Woxic gets out after one.
Woxic's had a very impressive round thus far, right? It was him with that late trade onto 910 out and long. Another keen trade there for Xantares' death in middle, but you see how jittery Aurora are at this point in the game. This solo lurk from Techno, and he even looks to live to tell the tale.
Shocking.
Aurora left chasing ghosts as MongolZ plant the bomb over at A.
Can't die in the sight though. Denied on the catwalk. There's even a flank on B. This one looks wrapped up. Pack it up.
A jebi ga, ne može ni on sve zajedno da pobedi sam, brate. 2-0, brate. Ovo mi je Herman Miller, brate.
MongolZ, these two teams fighting for trophies. MongolZ making the difference. They will sit a map away for the rest of the series. How long will it take?
Šta mislite sad, koliko je, brate... Koliko je kvota na Turke da se vrate na 2-3? Herman Miller sam platio, ja mislim, oko 140.000. Vredi, brate, vredi stvarno. Vredi, brate, imaš i garanciju 100 godina na nju, pa možeš, brate, da stolica je stvarno, ono, ne može se poredi ni jedna s njom. Ni jedna ne može se porediti. Yep, Aurora seem to be... I wonder what the fucking tweet is gonna be from Meyer. 11. Bacanje par. Ma dobra je stolica, iskreno. Dobra je stolica, brate. Kupio sam jednu sebi, jednu ženi, koja reče da mi napravi da jedem. Odigrao sam ja 3+ na jednom tiketu, ali za sitno, nisam nešto preterao. O, podržava dosta, otkud znam. Ja koji imam 120, brate, eto ti. Ja volim da letujem kući, brate moj. Volim da idem nigde. Mogu da sedim ovdje u mojoj kući, u ovom dvorištu, brate, stalno. Ja bi sedeo. Pa ne ti kažem minimum 120, Vlado je, mislim, sigurno i više. Ne volim da idem nigde, brate, muka mi od svega i aviona i putovanja i ljudi i brate. A bukvalno Zaha, majke mi. Mene podržava, brate. I ono...
It was, you know, a bit of a weird one as well. I felt like the Mongols should have won earlier, to be completely honest.
Eto je mu u blatu, mi smo iz blata.
To be completely honest, Aurora, they won the pistol, they converted. Outside of that,
I ima, brate, kako nema. Imaš pored mene, brate, ako hoćeš.
Then it took some heroics from Aurora in the second half. They also win that pistol, failed to convert it, but fair enough, you win both pistols and you still don't make the game that competitive.
A Mongoli kreću na te strane, tako? Nikad nismo letovali, mi smo iz blata. Pa zavisi šta će kupiš, ne znam koje su po kvadratu, jebi ga, mislim, ako ima kuća od tipa sa 2-3 spavaće dvorištem, bazenom, oko 200 i nešto hiljada. Imaš skuplje, imaš jeftinije, imaš ogromnu kuću, sam viđao ja. Mislim da se prodala, bila je 350.000, brate, ali ogromna. I ogromno dvorište, brate. Dvorišće. Svašta ima. Jebi ga imaš jeftinije od 100.000, 150, 200. Ma nije nego mu je, brate, stalno su mu neke izjave kao, ono, nismo, ne znam ni ja, ono, neke srce cepajuće izjave. Podnožje planine Cer, 200 Cerska bitka, brate, Vojvoda Stepanović. Respekt. 204 kvadrata, 20 ari plati 70k. Pa 2-3 spavaće, veliko dvorište, a 200.000 arki možda daš. Minimum. Micu, šta je bilo?
Always super tricky when you're in that situation. For the side of the Mongols, though, obviously we've been talking about Blitz, obviously Techno having absolutely coming out all guns a-blazing on that first map, but shout out to Mazzinho for putting in some work when he was required to here. It's been a little bit of a rocky road for him.
Onu kinesku naručiš, kapsu.
Yeah, he had some really impactful moments.
Yeah, for sure. The Deagle round that you alluded to as well was massive for Mazzinho. It shouldn't be needed, you know. I feel like the Mongols kind of, like, if you want to be a little bit critical towards the Mongols, they shouldn't push themselves in a position where that was what it took.
Ma, mislim, ne moraš, samo beži iz Beograda.
Like they were losing control over a map that I feel they were better than Aurora on, but Mazzinho overall throughout the entire tournament has played a little bit better than he has after the beginning of the season. So he's seemingly trending upwards again, and then, as you said, Jason, Blitz, another great performance, and I guess he's back into the MVP race now.
He just seems like such like a glue guy, right? Like he just seems like he's such a good presence to have to like activate teammates. I mean, taking point when he has the spawn here, obviously, but he just seems to be like the general of the defensive part of the map that he's playing in, and he does it so very well.
What did you want more of then from Aurora, Janko? What were you looking at and going, okay, they've chosen this map for a
Kamate,
reason.
rocker,
What was
brate,
lacking?
u alta
I
banci.
think the problem was also it seemed like it wasn't difficult for Mongols to read what was going to happen or what Aurora wanted to do. You know, when they take cat control, they did take it but immediately fall back. You don't feel like the DA players don't feel in danger of a hit coming, right? And even the one B split that worked, if Senzu just swung completely from window and got them tired, you know, his teammate would be alive and that they could both focus on tunnels. So even that felt a little bit fortunate from Aurora, right? Like, I don't know, maybe you can put a little bit of blame on Vicadia because he got punished once by Techno, you know, solo pushing upper B, but that now we're getting into really the details. You know, it's just sometimes being a little bit more pacey during your map control and just more...
Koliko ih dobro plaćaju, imaju pare da kupe dugačke pantalone, moraju ove kratke.
And sort of wait out the round.
This series, like overall, and especially this map, feel like both teams are playing like very standard Counter-Strike, right? Like nothing's kind of broken the wheel. No one's gone too far outside the textbook. Nobody's trying to like flex or take any huge risk. This is just like fundamental Counter-Strike being going back and forth of how these teams like to play. And I think that's why it feels like sometimes teams, you know, they're doing very good job of reading each other as well.
And also, actually, this is the round, the Mzinho Deagle round, right? That was so important. But
Gdje si
the
Dule,
round
šta
before
radiš?
this was the Voxic round on long, right? And Senzu was the last player alive, and he was around Gandalf. And it was, we were sitting and what, like the Jota was cat, but when he saw that he has no time, he just fell back. Even though economy was decent for Aurora, Senzu was low HP, I don't know if he knew that, but if he went and got...
Šta je 502?
Took
502 šta?
away that Senzu saved and got a couple of kills defending the...
Yeah, we were angry about that in the green room. We were just like, why isn't he going for that kill? Why isn't he going for that kill? It's right there.
Gentlemen, I've had enough of regular Counter-Strike. I want some fire, and I want you guys to bring the fire.
Brate, moram da jedem ova govna neka.
Can you give me a hot take that is maybe gonna spice up this series? Jacob, I'm looking at you because you've had plenty of them.
Yeah, I mean, Vitality is gonna make a rush to change after this event, I guess. No way. Calm down. I don't know. You want a hot take? I don't think Aurora's gonna win a tier 1 trophy with this lineup they have right now. I think this is the one opportunity they have, and I'm not even sure that's a hot take, to be honest. I don't think they'll get into another final either. Maybe that's a bit of a hot take.
That's a sad.
It's a sad take, you know, but I don't think they have the qualities up there right now to be competing with the best in the world. This event was the one where they maybe could have done it with Spirit transitioning, with Face transitioning, with Vitality.
Kisela voda je majka, brate.
If not now, then never.
Samo što vidiš, Knjaz Miloš, brate, ovaj ubio Karađorđa, mi mu damo kiselu vodu, brate. A Karađorđu damo šniclu, brate, Karađorđu.
With all the talk about T-sides and everything, you know, it kind of point the figure at major.
He's just gonna come back in then.
You know, but that's just the good old minus major plus major, right? Like, you know, a couple of months with his family, you know, you're gonna try someone else in-game leading on the team, it's not gonna work. You bring him back and now he's refreshed.
Now he's back in action and ready to party. Yeah, I would agree with you.
Hleba.
I mean, with points, I mean, I guess this is the one bright spot we have. So I guess on some level, it's almost like, let's see if this continues to the next tournament, if they're going to make another deep run into the playoffs.
Sad će, brate.
Wait. So you're saying it's over?
Živim na Kosmaju, brate, sad, patite. Aleksa. A inače sam na Novom Beogradu.
Yeah, no, I just like to help out. I like to support my boys.
You like to set up the layup for Jacob to say it is.
This game is definitely over. Like there's absolutely no way that Aurora's gonna come back into this one. I don't think so. Maybe they can make Nuke competitive. Maybe they can steal away a map. But if we're talking about the series, then I have the Mongols as the firm favorites. They were before the game. They most definitely are now.
Yeah, I'm not. I had Mongols winning the series. I didn't have it necessarily 3-0 with the way that Aurora had been playing, but
Teško, iskreno.
Mongols is still taking this.
Well, sounds like Janko, you were right to look into that crystal ball and predict a 3-0.
Koliko treba od Kosmaju do Beograda? Šta ja znam? Sat vremena.
It's Nuke, map number 3.
45 minuta, 50. Između 45 i sat vremena. Stavite si gužve kod Ikea, dole na autoputu kod rampe i to. On je uzeo, brate, kod mene, kuću na... u Kumodržu. Živeo od mene tipa 7 minuta peška. Mislim da je i dalje tamo.
Now we move back to a Mongols pick. It's Nuke as our third. This is Mongols in with a chance for a clean sweep in the final.
Yeah, very impressive game out of the Mongols so far. And I mean, we go to a map that even just the other day they beat Vitality on. Done it not once but twice. Absolutely no sleepers on this one as we have a fast pistol. Aurora, bit of a stack on the
Oj,
ramp, but shots don't connect.
oj,
Major
pregaziš
puts
ih.
down. Blitz keeps on chasing. The fragging power between these in-game leaders clear as day in this game.
Ma Kosma je odličan, odličan.
And maybe if they gave him a chance, but they just dart down towards B with the info. I'm not to be planted. Could just escape. Ricardia chased now, and okay, maybe there's a way.
Ricardia Dooley's clutch. Where have I heard this one before?
Careful.
Given a chance to
Pa
deal
Plantu ne može ga ubiti, ovaj sa beretama iz te daljine jebote.
Mazinho from behind the site, but not being given anything, and the whole time he's wondering where is Blitz gotten to. Ricardia's going to reposition. That allows the plant to come in for the Mongols. Now Ricardia is the one on the clock, and Mazinho deletes him. A convincing pistol leveled from the Mongols. And make no mistake, you can see it in how they're playing. They are determined. They want this trophy. They have been chasing it all year. This is the closest they've ever been to realizing that dream.
It's the swings as well. I mean, Mazinho just going out in that 2v1, taking the swing. He doesn't even need to. He's got cover from Blitz. These are the rounds that, yeah, they can definitely get punished. But today, Mongols are just running away with every advantage. They said after their major failure in the grand final against Vitality that their mistake was envisioning lifting that trophy after winning the first map of Mirage, and they wouldn't make that mistake again. But will the Mongols stay dialed in?
God neko kaže Aleksinac, ja se setim bombardovanja.
Dominant 3-0. This is their best bet to close the series here on Nuke. Zantares won't go down quietly. Quick kill outside, but swiftly traded back to a 4-on-4. Guns still up for the Mongols.
Kad god neko kaže Aleksinac, ja se setim bombardovanja, brate, i one tragedije što je. Ćao, Rossi.
It's where he's done his best work here at EWC. So keen trades out in the yard. Maja up close, dealt with straight away. So advantage resides with the Mongols. This force slipping through the fingers of Aurora. The Woxic scout reclaims one.
Read the rotate as well. Blitz's calling has been fantastic in this series. Well, we give a lot of credit to Maja across the T sides against other teams, against Falcons especially. In this grand final, it has slipped at times. Not always had the stars to depend on. And certainly not been able to...
Turci forsuju, brate, konstantno s ovim scoutima i desertima i nikad ne dobiju.
This horde just keeps on hoarding rounds. This one no exception. Aurora likely saving. And the streak of converting pistols just keeps going in this series. Both teams have done it, but now Mongols take the lead.
Nicu. 3 sata, ljudi, sad će 3 sata promenim kanal. Ti mi je daljinski.
Aurora for so long been chasing the high they felt at the start of the year in that final against Team Spirit back at Bounty. The Mongols, they have just kept hitting their head against the wall. Final after final, leveling up.
Šta je, Mico? Molim. Šta je bilo? Dođi, ajde. Dođi, ajde, dođi. Dođi. Bravo. Ej, ti si pametna mačka jedna.
With a kind of poetic win over Vitality to send them in to this grand final. Revenge they've had a couple of times over now since Austin.
Kako misliš da odzumiram, Nikola? Znaš što misliš? Mislim, full screen je.
Carve out this space and allow them the chance for the trophy.
Maybe there were caveats, you know, winning over Gamer Legion, winning over 3D Max, but to do it again over Vitality and to do it on Nuke and win it out in a 3-map series, once again proves the Mongols are of that championship caliber. And even though this wasn't the grand final we expected,
Pa nije, tako je.
one that Mongols are more than happy to play.
Ovo je, brate, kad je zoomiran, ovako izgleda kad je zoomiran. Ovako izgleda kad je ono normalno.
Careful, careful, the wheels are coming off.
Ugly for 9-10. And that leaves it all on Senzu. This is a full eco round out of Aurora. Looking to upset unless Senzu can do the impossible. He's got 30 seconds left. Maja up and over, cements it with a hat trick. The captain of Aurora promised to put everything into this
Ne znam,
final.
Mutelice, kako tebi izgleda?
That is an explosive round from their captain. Starts with the Zeus, ends with a bang. Electric stuff to maybe resuscitate this Aurora squad.
Yeah, I want to say that's their first eco win in this series as well, so something the Mongols have had plenty of. Actually, excuse me, it was a Wikari D ground on Dust 2.
Delo je meni normalno to, ja gledam vama na OBS-u, vidim normalno, možda se tebi nešto istribao. Možda se tebi ekran nešto cijel.
Not on purpose, lost to the wind as the rest of Mongols make it down B. Bomb in tow, and Aurora don't have this.
Mutelice, si tu?
You may think one, you will not think five.
You even see that in the reaction.
Što nisi poslala mamu da dođe, ljudi hoće da vide mamu na streamu. Vidite što sam dobio, ljudi. Prođi slobodno, Sofija. Dobro, pođi s druge strane, ej.
Focused forward onto the ramp side. It's Woxic and Zantares moving in from this half of the map. Blitz makes quick work of Aurora's star rifler. Maja has been able to find the gap on the vent side.
Pazi, Nutella, palačinke, vrate, batice.
And here in map 3, Blitz showcasing some of that individual brilliance. Not a captain who leaves the fragging to the rest of his team. Even giving chase at the close. They want this to be punishing. They want this to hurt. Woxic's looking good to get out with this AWP in check. Still, it's a convincing start here for the Mongols.
Yeah, Blitz here's Techno MVP. Not if I have anything to say. Let's see what he can do about that. Chasing him down. Then these two, the outliers on the numbers for the Mongols. And Blitz doing it back a bounty as well. This
Sad ću odem da kupim ženi još jedan BMW.
his best. Been so clutch. And part of these strong T-side leads for the Mongols. 3-1 off the top. Aurora call a pause. They at least save that all. That gives them something to play with here.
Just feel like it's been so long since you've had a good grip on this series. If you're Aurora,
Mico, ne možeš ti palačinke.
To their favor, right? They had the map point. They had 11-8 up, 12-11 up. And then once we hit overtime, it was just a different game.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
We never go down easy.
Eating snakes.
Series from that point.
Nice.
Doesn't look like it's going to let up here on Nuke.
Jevi ga, mora se zna red ovdje do čela, brate. Dobro, Mico, dobro je.
all 5 Mongols players hit very, very hard. It's not a team with 1 or 2 star players.
Pazite ovo, ljudi. Ne znam, možeš vidjeti.
And that's where it feels like the Mongols have been outdoing Aurora. The floor is just higher on each individual. You could argue that highs have been hit by the individuals on the side of Aurora in Zantares and Woxic.
Bolest.
Hell, Wakadia in there as
Eating
well,
snakes.
Maja and Jota have both been struggling throughout this final.
Felt like that 2, maybe 3-man army was enough back in
Bude izašla neka buljica, druže, od ovog šećera, ima da se ono...
Mongols dig deeper, last longer.
Nemoj, brate, da grokći, molim te.
As a team, Woxic caught in the open, they just explode through the huts. Techno gets a double. It's cross out, not safe at all. Senzu has Antares trapped, and even then, it's implying he's going for it.
Udariš log.
Calling out his fight in the yard as Jota gets closer and closer, but even Madja is not behind him yet. Jota needs a clean kill, and even then his teammate falls, so does the round. Madja got to be sneaky. Could they walk past him? Don't give it away. Free kill. Grab a couple. Get back on that bomb.
Senzu's outside. He's far away. Trying to close distance. He'll get there just in time. I mean, look, you can't knock it from Madja. That's a 1v3 attempt that maybe other than Zaiwu, no one would have given a go.
Yeah. Hey, what if he doesn't take the kills? What if he just creeps in? I mean, you don't know if you're going to get cleared at any point by the second play. You don't know where Senzu is, but gave it a damn
Jebote,
good go.
popišavaju ih ovi, brate, Mongolijanci, brate.
Senzu gets there just in time. A really nice try for the captain of Aurora, who wants to go out with no regrets here.
Izgubili su, brate.
And he re-inspires some hope on this CT side.
A da, evo vidiš. Ima ovo.
All the way up past Mazinho. Multiple players now trying to go through on this secret cross. Antares will be in with a chance to backstab. That's juicy. That's something out of this MP9.
Oh my.
Techno and
A
Mazinho.
evo,
That is the Mongols. It feels like two more grow back. Techno's gotten so aggressive so quickly that no one's even ready for it. Imag's been holding this shot forever. But you don't want to miss. Mazinho down low. Senzu finishes the job. It's just Wakadia. There's info on both players, but they can move quickly here. They can look to elude it.
Ne znam, ko zna šta se zabilo. Dobro ga je otpucao ovo dozgo.
Out in the yard. Pound for pound, the Mongols just hitting harder than everyone on Aurora.
Turci izgubili su, brate, svu motivaciju koju su imali, brate.
And again, another round that just slips through your fingers, barely for Aurora. The double up for Xantares. So much damage done by Madja. Dink in the final fight onto Senzu. The margins could not be tighter. The rounds could not be closer. But Mongols are winning out. 5-1. A dominant T-side beginning. And they're playing with wind in their sails, trying to go fast out the door, even though they lose the first man. The trade still
Treba da im da ono, mi smo u blatu. Blatu.
Mongols, no way they go for it. Blitz, the cockiness to just drop their knife out. Captain with bomb on back. Makes it down to B.
Kad igraju ovi naši, brate, ovaj turnir, Mayer je ostao speechless.
Who's clearing Senzu here? Oh no. I got bad news, buddy. It's all Senzu. Look at him on the player count, not happy with that. Low health, Senzu plays it to perfection and
Ma ovi gdje god da se pojave uvijek, brate.
4v2. The bomb coming back up. Maybe there's a way, but Woxing missed shots. And again,
Jebote, život, izgubili su kompas potpuno, brate. Potpuno su, brate, izgubili kompas.
The gap is widening.
Yeah, it really is. You know, Aurora feeling kind of checked out here come map 3 as they realize every opportunity they've had.
Etc. Kid is 13 months old.
Behind them already. And now looking lost on Nuke as Blitz calls rings around them, finding every available gap. And there are many, many gaps to find.
Oh, Brighton.
Each win for the Mongols looking to get cleaner and cleaner in this final.
Yeah, it does, man. It's like crazy. 1 year has passed like nothing. Crazy, crazy shit.
They already look like this final is done. Frustration setting in.
Jole, dođi. Dođi, Jole. Dođi. Oh. Bravo, bravo, pas. Bravo, pas. Dobar pas. Oj, dobar pas.
Just a couple years ago,
dobar pas, dobar pas.
Finally settled on a 4-5. and a couple years down the line have gone from group stages to finals, and even in the last couple
Hollywood
of
Smile mi je radio, brate, Mišo Latas.
doing it twice over bounty to EWC.
Zubar sa Altine.
To lift their first S tier trophy.
Koker. Gdje si, Đole? Gdje si pseto jedno?
Progression, and all in all, over such a short period of time as a 4-5.
Yeah, it's impressive how fast they've risen. How quickly they've overcome these demons. I mean, you know, you even compare that to a squad like Aurora, who, as we say, you know, this has been years in the making. Yeah.
Da, baš ih nema ih nigde, bukvalno. Retko se koji pojave.
In the making at that.
Gdje ćeš kuće, jedno, lepo. Ajde. Polako. Ne, nikad.
Strength to strength trajectory throughout this year. And representing not just their country, but kind of the whole region.
Ali će se raduje ceo Ulan Batar, brate, kad Mongoli osvoje, brate.
It is just a beautiful sight to behold. Now in this round things can get weird. Into the 1v1, Maja desperately needs this. Aurora.
Inače, taj, brate, Ulan Batar. Znate koji depresivan grad, brate. Full ono komunizam, brate.
14-2 on Senzu, and it doesn't matter how close these rounds continue to be when Mongols win out every single time. Senzu, second bottom rated player for the Mongols of this event, but he is hitting his peak form.
Inače, brate, taj Ulan Batar ide do minus 40 zimi, brate. Zato što su u nekoj kotlini, brate. A Indija, dobri ljudi, brate, sranje zemlje.
So having him deliver his best map of the event here in map 3 in the grand final feels like
Bak spao s motora, brate. Joj, sam ima 0-7, brate, i vode 7-1. Pa nije da smrde, ali imaju taj neki specifičan njihov, brate. Ali nisu oni loši ljudi, brate, samo što im je jebi ga, mnogo ih ima, brate. Zemlja nije uopšte dobra, brate. I jeste, ja mislim, Mihajlo, da je baš zbog toga. Imaju tu aromu, brate. Pa će i ovo da klačuje, brate.
But with that 3K, he keeps this so dominant for the Mongols. If you're only as strong as your weakest link, and your weakest link does that, what does that say? The Mongols are walking this path to the victory.
Bro, svaka čast.
Seemingly can't overcome.
It's clutch after clutch. It's 1v1 after 1v1. The Mongols again powered up. Pace behind it. Charging out ramp. Disadvantage in this round, but when has that stopped them before? They set their sights on B. Ricardi tucked to the corner. No one yet to commit. 9-10 off the off onto the rifle. Molly will force a decision. Ricardia smoke buys him options, buys him seconds. The 9-10 comes in for the killing blow. You would not expect this move, surely, would you? Ricardia checking. 9-10 the same, hits the
Full percentage, I would say.
Round kept alive here for Aurora. They've just been banging their head against the wall, trying to get back in this map, and it still may be a bridge too far.
We saw what the bottom performer could do in one of these man disadvantages. This is a 2-on-5 rapidly getting out of hand for Aurora. Left to this retake. Mazzinho closing in, spots them ramp side. Gets the info at bare minimum. Tees up Senzu to try his hand at a clutch. Full blinded off the angle, but not a single shot connects. Senzu still very much in the picture here.
Ej, jebi ga, mnogo bi ti bilo.
And so finally, Aurora break through. It's real close.
Jel imaju diffuse?
It's still far from comfortable even now. Another round just lost to the time. No, milliseconds the difference. It's something, but it's really not a lot. It's not enough to celebrate. It's not enough to feel good about for Aurora, barely limping through these rounds.
It would always have to come down to the wire, wouldn't it? Even if Aurora win, can't take it clean. And that was MongolZ's most chaotic round yet, just kind of running at them. Wilmara called them off, and again remind them of that final feeling, not to jump the gun.
I mean, I think up until now, yeah, you've been more than fine with letting your squad do whatever they want. It's all been working. Play loose, play aggressive. We're just playing better. That's been the vibe. But that one round, they know how quickly these scorelines can close up. And
Da će bude 10-2, a? Ili 8-4? Ili 9-3.
You can be liberal with them at this scoreline. You can take one after every round you lose. So they go back to something a little slower. Outside smokes in, it's more standard here for the MongolZ. Blitz work in the yard control.
Misliš domaće Tanasiću ili strane ekipe?
Looking for this cross, he'll run right in to Zantares. Pressure on Woxic, but he's pre-deployed this smoke, extinguishing that molly and giving himself a route.
Pa mislim, najviše, da kažem, nisam neki fan kao specijalno jedne ekipe, ali uvek sam gotivio Chelsea, recimo.
You've overcome some serious limitations here. This is a 3-on-5, a low econ round. Hell of a dig for Miss. Can do it twice over 9-10. More success. How many man advantages do Aurora give away? How many unlikely scenarios can the MongolZ turn on their head? There is no limitations on this squad. Everything is working.
Nije Liverpool. Jebote, ali ih, brate, dobijaju ih, brate, u svakom aspektu igre. U, brate, pucanju, u taktikama, u, brate, ono, mentalnoj ovoj, brate, aspektu, jel? Sve, šta god da urade, brate, ovima ide, ovima ne ide, brate. Majer, ono, ostavili smo srce, ostavili smo dušu, ovaj tim je strava, želim svima, ono, ljubav, mi smo iz blata.
They depart. Aurora try and maintain advantage for once. 4v3 in a good position now with that kill from Zantares. A site is open.
Ako ništa, makar ćemo giveaway, brate.
A site is very open, and so Aurora flood 2 players through the ceiling. Woxic drop back sight. There's a shadow. He saw it. Senzu knows there's a player up above. Woxic seen as well. Full info. Don't start cooking another 2v4. Not like this.
A, ima leđa.
Backstab for Maja holds a lot of promise. It should get rid of one more, and that leaves a low health Blitz, but he's got all the info. He's got a lot to work with here. It will start closing in quickly. They hear that vent drop. They know where Blitz is.
Pa jebi ga, izgleda da su nešto im se poklopilo, brate, i verovatno im se meta poklopila sa onim kako oni igraju. Dobri su na samopouzdanju, shvatili da mogu da se nose i onda to ide jedan stepenik sa drugim, brate, i to je to.
Consolation rounds, they don't hit hard. You don't feel like this makes a world of difference. It's a tiny bit more breathing room in a very claustrophobic final. And one where no advantage has felt safe.
Nikad nisam rođendan slavio, ja sam iz blata.
We don't see a single player trying to hype up, trying to stay in it, trying to reaffirm that this game is winnable.
A imaju dobre individualce, brate, na svakim pozicijama, razumiješ, svako zna svoju ulogu, brate, i to je to. Nije kao u Falconsima da, brate, svi hoće da nabadaju, pa ne može, brate.
A 3-0 looming over $500,000 for first place. And these young players have already made generational wealth. They want more. They want the glory that comes with it. 9-10, rallied shots, they run him down. Gives it up. Ramp room conceded. He looks so keen to take it back, but it's blitzing lower. Catching them off guard.
Oni su iz blata, odlično si ga pucao.
Very awkward for Blitz. They're going to have to reroute. Now they know it was never meant to be a B play. Techno pressured, back sight. Xantares finds his second.
Catch for Cardia. And a 2 versus 5 retake now begins. It's a whole different task on this CT side. No kit to work with. Clean stuff to find Xantares. Aurora getting a little bit strung out and giving away a lot of fights.
Relax.
They not learned their lesson. There's been so many unlikely rounds like this. It's been the entire story of Nuke. He saw him with the spot. They know there's a man backside, but they can't quite find it. Aurora able to collect themselves and stop that 2v5 in its tracks.
It's terrifying that that's even a conversation.
Osmanlije, brate, se vraćaju, brate, u Istanbul.
Right there. Aurora almost give us another nightmare. Mongols forced by yet again. These have managed to be avoided so far from Aurora. When they win pistols, they have converted. Xantares looks to do good on that streak.
Ovaj server je strava.
Of opening kills on this T side. Try and manifest a comeback. Meanwhile, you got red hot Senzu 20-6. Making nothing easy for you. I get caught again, make that 21.
Oh my god, it's starting to spiral.
Not like this.
You've been able to stick the landing in these conversions time and time
Bi ga
again.
tek, te se nabu. Glava još jedna. Vidimo se.
Senzu is a demon. A hat trick with the dig.
Popi, popi, pop. Popi Šakistana, da.
Mongols onto double digits. So close.
Posljednji, brate, ekser u kovčegu Turaka, brate, je zakucan.
Just a sensation. All game long. 3 Deagles and Ulaanbaatar. Finally witnessing victory.
Svaka čast i tebi, brate.
So it seems.
I mean, the whole nation is behind this team. Whenever they play, the crowds will gather to cheer on the Mongolian squad in their ventures abroad. And so often, you know, it's been that feeling of heartbreak, what could have been. But finally, those dreams are looking to be realized. And in dominant fashion, it's the force buy from Aurora. This force begins the downward spiral at the tail end of this final. If they don't find success here, it is forces till the end of play. And so this truly is the last chance for Aurora. Force swung wide. Blitz with the cover. Blitz.
I naboje treći, brate.
He does so well to get out.
Why?
With this much of a home advantage for the squad now in this retake. Just Wakadia left. An overwhelming odds stacked against him. Senzu just can't set a foot wrong in this
Everton 1-0, a? Idemo.
Part of so many of those 2v4s, 2v5s. Approaching 30 kills deep in a dominant and harrowing map of Nuke.
And we've seen some stomps this year. We've seen some BO5s that have gone one-sided, but we have not seen a capitulation quite like this from
NDI.
Aurora to go head-to-head, band for band in that first map, and then to just evaporate from the series here on Nuke. Never a point they were in it, never a round felt safe. So many clutches, so many disadvantages. And Mongols sit 11-4, facing those forces again and again until they take that trophy.
And all year, the Mongols
Forsuju, brate, Turci, a?
a matter of time. And that could not be truer than right now. Two rounds away from finally getting their hands on an S tier trophy.
Ma nema veze, bitno je da imaš, brate, da si popuni.
As mentioned, for Aurora, it's forces from now to the end of the game. The options will never get better. The playbook keeps getting more and more restricted. The odds so stacked against them.
Biće sve, mate, samo malo da podignemo još community, znaš. Da ima, da averageujemo tipa jedno 500 ljudi na streamu, na live-u, brate, i sve ćemo.
It's about time they dealt one the other way. As finally the stars align. For a team not defined by one or two stars.
Pa mislim da ne moraš, samo dobiješ poen manje ako nemaš Instagram. Ili tako nešto, nema poen. Utelica, da.
They are all performing at a high level and they have been throughout this entire final.
And then to throw the bow of Senzu, 24-6 right on top. This is the start, if there ever were to be one.
Jer ima shot blocker, zna Nutelica da pomogne.
They meet their maker, they meet their match. They meet a 3-0 final.
I mean, this end, it just feels like destiny being realized. It's rare that it feels this on rails in the final. But Aurora have been able to tell for some time what was happening, that today did not belong to them. The Mongols looking for this crushing blow. Finally, to place their hands on a well-earned trophy. One kill from it, and there it is. The Mongols clean sweep in the final. It's not
Boga mi, popišaš ih koji just.
From the humble beginnings of LAN cafes in Ulaanbaatar to some of the biggest stages in the world. Friends from the beginning and champions by the end.
The world's
Jel plače, stvarno?
Counter-Strike team from the Asian region.
Valjda ne plaču.
The first time an Asian squad has listed an S-tier trophy. So young, so inexperienced, but in such a short time, flying to the top of Counter-Strike. They took down world #1 back-to-back events, and they sweep this series without breaking a sweat.
Boy, the Mongols themselves, a man can be destroyed but not defeated, and that embodies the attitude that this squad have taken on their rise to the top of Counter-Strike. A team that has experienced heartbreak many times over and channel that to the pursuit of perfection in Counter-Strike. They carry the hopes and dreams of Mongolia, and here they arrive as champions. Your esports World Cup 2025 champs, it's the Mongols!
Pa zaslužili su, realno. Najbolji su igrali, nema šta.
The Mongols have done it, a statement victory in front of the world. Incredible. Senzu, I'm going to start with you. Are you all right?
Yeah, all right.
I think you're very good. your first S-tier trophy. I feel like this must be one of the greatest moments, if not
Sad će
it
se
to be
pojavi
the
Banks,
greatest
bro.
moment of your life. You didn't just win this trophy, you took it with sheer dominance. How proud are you of yourself and the team?
Yeah, of course, I'm proud of my team. I feel just normal.
Nervous. Well, guys, can we make some noise for this man to relax his nerves a little bit? Because it's not just the people here in the arena that have been cheering you on. All over Mongolia, we've seen footage of thousands of fans cheering
Mali
you
postane
on every
menadžer.
step of the way. Do you feel like this win is for them too?
Just want to say thank you. Thanks for the cheering for us and keep cheering for us. We will be champion again.
Do you think that you were underestimated coming into this tournament? There were lots of other teams that were marked as favourites to win it. Do you feel like you were maybe overlooked a little bit here?
No.
You don't think?
Yeah, I don't think.
All right, well, congratulations. Let's have a chat with Techno. Techno, come here. Let me come around here. Can you hear what they're saying?
Yeah.
Well, first, how much of a personal statement did you make here in this tournament, and how proud of the way you have played are you?
To be honest, I think it was I did my job very well, and my performance was good. At the start of this year, I had a little bit struggle and not a good ratings, but however I came back to this event. And one thing is I'm really proud of my team because of the pillar two came here.
Fantastic. Guys, can you just chant again? What were you saying? You were saying something.
MVP!
Indeed, you are. Our Sony tournament MVP is Techno. Fancy come and award this man with his well-deserved medal here. Congratulations once again to Techno and this entire team. Ladies and gentlemen, our final winners at EWC, your Counter-Strike 2 at the Esports World Cup champions, it's the Mongols!
Blitz je... Blitz je igalo, brate. Vidite što sam te zamislio, brate. Razmišljam tako o turnirima i to. Bravo, svaka čast.
They may have stumbled in Austin. They may have left Bounty empty.
Ne, Blitz je...
Today, they finally
Blitz
get
je
their
stalno
hands
bio.
on that ever-elusive
Ljudi, hoćemo na giveaway, a?
trophy. And the Mongols not only making history for
Hoćemo
their
na
team,
giveaway da vidimo
but
tu
making
šta se
history
tu
for their
dešava,
region
brate,
as
ajde.
well. It's been such a long-fought battle to get a true Tier 1 trophy in the Asian region, and today the Mongols have done it.
It's been a long time coming for the
Okay.
Mongols, but what a fashion to do it in.
Kaže Nutelica ovako.
Never left any doubt whatsoever that you were the
Ajde
best
već,
team in
čuti
the
ovo smaš. Kaže Nutelica ovako to ide. Rekao mi je ovako. Da se vidi na streamu, kaže obrni 4 puta da izvučemo 4 vinera. On će nakon toga da vas kontaktira na Discordu i da proveri da li ste uradili sve što treba i da prosledi info. Ako slučajno neko od izvučnih se ne javi ili nije uradio, prebacujemo giveaway za drugi stream. Jel smo u redu, brate? Može li se? A? Sad još uvijek postoji, možda si posle kako nema Nutelice, šta je ovo, šta se dešava, ajde reci mi. Što kažu ljudi da ih nema? Čekam, ne radim ništa. Za sad je gotov, ne treba, ja mislim da više ne radi prijavljivanje. Kaži Nutelica na Discordu mi kaže kad može, brat. A morate sami da se prijavite, nema niko da vas ubaci, da isklikćete. Možda ima nešto niste popunili, ko zna šta niste uradili. Nutelica, napiši mi samo kad može. Aha. Okej, novica. Nutelica, držite. Čekamo Nutelicu da da zeleno svetlo. Šta je mi to? Dosadna si, dolaziš 150 puta. Inače, poklon je skin od $100 ili $100 u USDT-u. Možete da birate. Valjda, ne znam. Ne znam, iskreno, blokaš, pojma ne. Stativa, brajte. Molim, kaži blokaš. Ne znam, Discord radi, ljudi, nemam pojma šta je s linkom. Mico, po ko zna koji put, siđi, brate, nemoj da si dosadna, jebote živo. Ajde, idi dobro. Možda Tanasiću si se kasno prijavio, razumeš? Možda nisi onda sve uradio, nemam pojma, Nutelica je administrator, za to stvarno nemam pojma. Kaže Nutelica da mogu da refreshujem i da krenem, ubacio je sve koji su se prijavili do 15:35 i ostavio kontakt. Ide refresh. Trebalo bi da ste tu svi. Jesmo spremni, ljudi? Jesmo spremni? Treba da kliknem ovde, Nutelica na sred ekrana. Idemo, broj 1. Ko je Mr. Pauli, batice? Ajde, sad čekamo da će se javi Mr. Pauli, brate. Mr. Poli, brate. Tanasić ga za malo, koliko sam vidio, a? Tanasić. Mr. Pauli 90336. Mr. Pauli 90336. Jer ga sad sklanja iz točka, iz ovog sranja, brate, Nutelice. Znači imamo pobednika broj 1. To je još jednom Mr. Pauli ili Mr. Poli 90336. Mr. Pauli 90336. You have, ili imaš vremena da se javiš dok ja ne ugasim stream, što će biti kad izvučem sva 4 pobednika. Posle toga prebacujemo na drugi stream. A imao sam opciju remove. Nije ispunio sve Poli 90336, tako da idemo iz početka. Može, 3, 2, 1, go! Sib 1667. Ko je to? Ajmo. Sib 1667. Sib 1667. Evo ga Sib. Javi se na Discordu Sibe, reci hoćeš 100 USDT ili skin. Kad Nutelica kaže da je sve kako treba, idemo dalje. Pa javi se na Discordu ovom našem. Kaži Nutelice kad se javio da vidimo da li možemo dalje da nastavimo. Može rolanje, idemo, broj 2. Opala. I ga dućalo što je bio... Op! Što mi za malo, batice, ko je slavces? Remove. Slavtes. Ajmo Slavče. Ko je Slavče? Slavče, javljaj se. Za malo slomi. Javio se na Discordio. A Uroš Slavković, bravo Uroše. Sad ćemo da vidimo dalje. Može, sljedeći, Nutelice. Dučala. Dučala da je Lucky, evo im je poznat, Lucky 4006. A šta je ovo remove all instances? Javio se, a? Dobro, remove samo ovo. Kažite ga, može, je li ostao još jedan ili je ostao još dva? Koliko je ostalo? Jedan? Tako? Evo ga, idemo, zadnji. Ajmo, idemo gas. Ide gas. Sweet and fluff. Sweet! You got it! Sweet! Nice, Sweet. Answer on Discord. You just need to check if you did all the steps. Tamo say, you just need to message, Swede, you just need to message on Discord. Okay, he messaged. Bravo ljudi, svaka čast. Dogovorit ću se ja s njima interno šta hoće tačno. Nadam se da ste uživali. Nadam se da ste uživali ljudi u ovome. Sweet, stay so we can privately see what do you want more. Skins or USDT. Svi ostali koji su dobili, budite tu samo da vam ovo dam i možemo da bežimo svi zajedno. Ljudi, vidimo se uskoro, možda i kasnije ako bude mikrofaceit, ako ne, onda sutra ili šta god. Odoh odma. Da vidimo im ljudima da damo ovo što im pripada, pa se vidimo opet, može? I Mica kaže čao.